see what we can see here. It's late for me, but I'm still doing it. Doing it. Rained all day. All right. Let's see. Got desk full of stuff I need to paint. Found some stuff I was looking for. That's always good. And got a lot of stuff painted. I mean, I'm pretty happy with all my peasants. I like them. They look pretty good. So I need to set these guys aside. They need to not be on my desk since, they're done. Having things on the desk that are done, that's just taking up real estate on the desk, isn't it? We don't need to do that. So, yeah, my brother called me. He's like, hey, you streamed today. I was like, yeah, but it's raining like sheesh out there, Like, I mean, it was hitting so hard, I thought it was hell for a minute, But when I went outside, I didn't find any hailstones. So I just was like, well, okay. That is some hard rain. But we needed it. Big old drops, And then my brother was worried about me. I have been playing a lot of Conan because I go through phases of playing Conan. And I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I hate, it is when you finally decide you want to move from one area to another. Looking like a sauna in there. You've been rubbing Vaseline on the camera lens for the No, it's probably just honestly dirty. Let me see. I've got and it's also a crappy camera. Hey, there's Rob. Why aren't you asleep, Rob? What are you doing up? See if that's any better. And I'm not using my plug-in camera, the one that's like actually, high resolution. This is like 720. But mainly because I found out the reason my stream was jacking up is my computer was overheating. Now I've got it on a cool pad and it's going full blast right now. So I got that joker turned up. Just done watching wrestling. Cool. So yeah. I've been running around Nordheim, doing Nordheim stuff. That's what I've been doing. Most of the day off and on, Rob. I mean, went to the store, did some other tiny stuff, but really today it was like, I should have just called it Conan. I couldn't process the majesty. Oh, Paul. You're such a smooth talking Chicago boy. I've heard about you guys. Gotta watch out. I mean, then again, I did marry a girl from that part of the woods, so, since her family originally settled in the Chicago area. She has had a new addiction lately, besides whipping my ass at Agricola, which she did last night. And that is watching clips of people making fun of the new Odyssey movie. Those ones you see where it's like just random like comments and everybody singing to them. she's she's been digging on that lately, and it's pretty hilarious. So what do I even have here? This looks like an extremely old bag of possibly undead. Undead. I'm going to have to open it up and double check. And of course, that doesn't help anybody saying, hey, what's up, Nerdy Ogre? That doesn't help anybody when I say undead, because it's like, well, what does that even mean miniature wise, right? Looks like these are Kings of War. Are they undead or are they knights? Hard to tell. Because there's no riders. It's just a bag full of horses. Isn't that weird? And it's made out of that weird plastic Kings of War uses. So you have to use super glue because this stuff is more resin than. So, yeah. Well, I might as well, while I'm sitting here, I may as well glue these guys together. They're going to need a lot of trimming. I can already see that. Again, you know, the resin cast models. Not a huge fan of this particular ingredient, I guess you would say. Not 100% opposed either, but I just really feel like there's a lot better materials. The topic of the day. You want a topic? Shit, okay. Well, I mean, I could go for something up your alley, and we could get into it again about how the coalition are the good guys. I mean, since you're you and Max, and I think that's about it. You Rift guys. I wonder, here's a thought. Do you think, numbers wise, there are more people playing Rifts than Hyperborea? Because I am just about willing to bet there's not. And I don't mean that as like a negative. I just mean Hyperborea is doing really well. It seems like every time you talk to anybody that goes to a tournament, it's becoming a lot more there, you know? But yeah. Rifts is like, to me, Rifts is like the crazy uncle. He means well. You're just not sure what the hell he's talking about. That's always been kind of my opinion. But again, like I've said, not trying to dog on you, my experience with Rifts was very negative because the guy who ran the game, yeah, probably. The guy who ran the game for me, the first time I encountered it, did such a horrible job that, you know, one of these days when I'm not doing my own stuff, I'm going to have to sit down and play a real Rifts game with real Rift players so that I can actually have opinions. Yeah, it might be. I'm just, I kind of keep tabs on what's going on and talk to the guys that go to the cons and stuff. And Hyperborea has definitely been making the rounds lately, which I, of course, think is awesome. You know, I want more people to share in the glory of Hyperborea. Well, actually, I wish more people could play every game. Just can't do that, though. Rifts is like complicated GURPS. I don't know if I'd 100% agree with that, Rob. My problem was not the rules. My problem was that Connor ran it, you know, back from the vampire days. And he basically just handed the rule book out and was like, make whatever you want. So everyone did. And we ended up with like the worst experience ever. How you doing, homie? Oh, look, you've changed your hair up, done some stuff. You look good.
No, I just don't have it up and pulled back in a ponytail.
Mm.
It's
Letting your hair
Reballing
down
it.
since it's late, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's my problem, and I've said that to anybody who's listened. That is my issue with riffs. I think I just had a horrible, horrible GM, and it kind of tainted my entire.
It happens.
But like I said, imagine if you had no idea what riffs was, and somebody just threw the rule book at you and said, "Make anything in this book."
Yeah, and I keep saying you can't do that.
Yeah,
I mean, you shouldn't even do that with an experienced player.
yeah, because we ended up with I can't even remember entirely everything, but I can tell you it was bad. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody was playing a seraph, which probably should not ever happen. Like an angel of fire.
Yeah.
Right. And then someone was playing a glitter boy, which actually his character wasn't bad. The seraph was bad. Like, one shotting glitter boys and shit like that. And then I told you, somebody played a guy from like an old West game, Wormwood or some shit, or Wild.
Wormwood? Oh, yeah, it's a.
I know his character was kind of like a Western type guy.
Well, you also have the New West and the Spirit West.
Right.
So
So
Wormwood would
basically,
surprise me.
there was no reason for any of us to be near any of us.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you got to have a. That's the drawback with something as vast as Rifts. Is the game master has to have at least a core idea of where he starting from, and a plot line or something, and not saying it can't be done. Like it's possible to have a dragon character along with a vagabond in the same group. But yeah, and it's the mentality of just because it's there, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to let this in.
You know what I wonder? I wonder why Rifts, like, I think if the guy who created Rifts created it today, it probably would have been a core book with all the rules and like one setting. And then all the other shit would have been in like other books. So you might have got like this core book and it would have came with like coalition versus whoever they're fighting against versus whoever's in the neighborhood, right? And then the whole Southwest vampire thing, which is a book. I know there's the Vampire Kingdoms, but that whole thing would have been in a separate book. It wouldn't have been in the original book, right? And while I don't think he should have done it that way because it would have just been piecemealing everything out a little at a time to the player base, it might have kept it a little easier if you showed up and everybody's like, we're playing Rifts and we're using this setting.
Yeah, that's kind of what you should do. Now, whenever you played, did you use the Ultimate Edition? Did he hand you the Ultimate Edition or what?
Dude, this was about 96, 97.
Oh, so it would have been the core rule book.
Yeah, it had the
Yeah.
weird floaty thing on it with the naked chicks.
Yeah, that's the core rule book. That's the one book you need. That's it. Everything everything else, that's why this right here, I don't consider this one a core rule book. Now
That's
it's
the new
good.
one.
It clears, it clears some things up, and it's good, and you can use it. But I don't consider it a core rule book, because in the original core rule book, there's things in there that aren't in here. That
Gotcha.
because in the back you have tables where you can roll like demons, different types of demons, and different types of supernatural predators, and you've got a table where you can roll up different dinosaurs and different regular animals, animals you can find in a zoo, things like that. And it literally had everything. And if you just had that one book, you could run a game for years with just that one book. The Ultimate Edition, it doesn't have
Right.
that stuff.
We'll tell people
But
that we're doing,
yeah,
this
but
is the
the thing
campaign
is-
we're doing.
yeah. But the thing is with the Ultimate Edition, because it came out, like recently, and I don't even know how recently, but by the time the Ultimate Edition came out, that there were other books, and most people had those other, like the Bestiary, and I don't think it's me.
But very, very common about Rifts. People have issues with and hit points. To act horrible, it's just a little different. Is really the thing with
Yeah.
Rifts.
Well,
At the end of the day, it is at its heart AD&D. It just changed so much stuff that it's hard to see. But I mean, the guy who created it was playing AD&D, and he's like, I think I can do this better. And some people could argue he did.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was the thing. He that's what he was doing. He was running AD&D, and he started house ruling stuff. Started making house rules, and finally one of his buddies said, "Look, dude, we're not playing AD&D anymore. This is a completely new game. You need to get this stuff printed out, and start
Right.
selling it."
And that buddy of his was not wrong.
Yeah.
Because, it's like he was definitely not. But, I mean,
And
that
as far
happened.
as-
Another company that happened with, I don't know if you know this or not, was RuneQuest. No, not RuneQuest, Rollmaster. Rollmaster started out as these little supplemental books you could buy to use with your D&D game. So like Arms Law. Hey, you want to make your game really crunchy? You can play AD&D, but with Arms Law, right? And after they came up with basically, hand-to-hand combat, magic, blah, 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 they finally were like, we need to just make a system to make characters. And I've often told people, if you look at Rollmaster, you could convert Rollmaster to a die 20, no problem. Since it's a die 100, but you got to roll high. All you'd have to do is just take that die 100, and every time it gives you a number, round it to the nearest 5. So if you want to hit for like a really good crit, you would need a 27. But when a starting fighter can start the game with +8 to their attack, it can't happen, And then
Yeah.
let's say you roll on the crit chart, roll a die 20. If you get 20, you kill the guy. Obviously, that's the basic rule, you know. And I don't know if you've ever played Rollmaster, but that's basically the whole game right there. And one day, I hope somebody will finally take that game and simplify it. Because what they've been doing with every iteration is adding shit to it. And it's like, no, what you need to do is you need to slow this shit down a little bit, but they're never going to. So, your favorite Rift setting? Do you have one?
No, no, I've wanted to play in Japan. I've never played a game in Japan, and I want to, and I think it's just, I think it would be totally awesome to do so, but I don't have a particular setting.
Uh,
Most people when playing Rifts, they usually keep it to like the Midwest, like up around up around the Michigan area, where Chi Town is,
right,
and that. So a lot of people don't run outside of that.
right.
I know right now somebody's like, no, I played in a game and we played in California. Well, yeah, didn't say everybody, didn't say nobody played outside of it. I just said the majority of the people.
Yeah, it's sad that when you're talking about these sort of things, and everybody in the world knows you're just making a generalized statement.
Yeah.
There's always someone that wants to. It's like, well, I hope you feel good about yourself. You got to get in there and say, you're. But anyway, it's the same thing with D&D. People want to play Forgotten Realms, and they all want to play in like the same 15 square miles of Forgotten Realms, and it's like, yeah, the one we started near Chi-Town, and it was weird because we were a group of people that the coalition would have 100% wanted us dead. The second, I mean, well, maybe not the angel. He might have been able to just show up and be like, I am an angel of the Lord. And the Chi-Town guys might have been like, well, okay, hold on. But the glitter boy and the elf and the freaking cowboy from the alternate dimension, they were definitely going to get hosed. So, but like I said, this is a guy we used to game with Vampire. Actually, we played Vampire with a lot, and yeah, he just said, hey, let's do this. And I probably shouldn't talk smack about him because that might have been his first time even trying to run the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but it did not. And I think it colored a lot of people. I don't know. Rob might have actually been there. The game I'm talking about, Rob may have actually been there because this is back when he used to hang out. So a lot. It was in Kissimmee off of frickin' Verona. Because there's a whole series of streets in Kissimmee that are named after Romeo and Juliet. So there's like a Capulet Street, a Montague Street, a Verona Street. But we used to hang out with this person that lived there and game all the time. And yeah, so.
But the Palladium system isn't as complicated as people tend to think it is.
No.
It's that's one thing. I saw a short video, and Kevin Simbita was spurging out, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get why all these people cry about the system being so complicated. I've taught 10, 11, and 12-year-olds how to play this game, and they picked it up like that. And he's just going to so I don't get where people are saying that it's complicated.
Yeah, I don't ascribe to the overcomplicated part. I mainly just blame everything on the old DM.
Yeah, I think what it
which may
is
not be
is like
fair.
a lot of people are like used to Dungeons and Dragons with with a stagnant armor class. You have
Right.
a it's like, okay, I've got a armor class 13. That's it. If someone attacks you, they roll a d20, put in their modifiers. They get a 13 or higher, they hit, and 12 or lower, they missed. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since that's not with Palladium, it's an active defense. You know,
Right. Um,
yeah, yeah, Shellback, yeah. Um,
reading more than 5 words is too hard. That is true, Shellback. Luckily, though, they're on Blue Sky, I think. Um, I played a game like what you're describing. It was a Hackmaster. You had like offensive and defensive modifiers. So when someone attacked you, you rolled a die 20 versus their die 20, and whoever had the higher total got what they want. And then the game I designed personally worked that way too, where
yeah,
you had skills, and if I had a sword skill 8 and you had your defense at like 7, we'd roll die 20 at our number, and if I beat you, I hit you, but if I didn't beat you, I missed. And then in that sort of game, armor soak damage,
yeah.
so it didn't make you
That's
harder to hit. And I had a special rule where if you took a hit, you could choose to destroy your shield to negate that hit, but then you wouldn't have a shield.
but
So
that's what uh, uh, but yeah, with the Palladium system, it's like you rolled a hit. I can dodge. Uh, I can dodge, parry, um, or simultaneous.
right,
You know, and
I like
there's a
that.
there's a big thing about simultaneous. Um, it's like Kevin has even says like, yeah, I regret putting that in because a lot of people abuse it. And the thing is like, so somebody, it's like somebody has a knife, they go to attack you. Oh well, it's like I got all these hit points, I can withstand it, so I'm going to simultaneous attack. Well, nobody in their right mind is going to stand there and let somebody stab them simply because they can take it.
Right.
So, and so what I do is like if you do a simultaneous attack, and the other person has a weapon, that weapon does automatic crit if they hit.
Dude.
So yeah, so that way,
So you make
uh,
them pay for it.
yeah,
The only time I can see somebody just taking the hit like that is like there's a couple of action movies where like the hero knows they're gonna die,
Mhm.
so they just let their opponent stab them so they can grab them and stab them back.
right.
Game of Thrones for D&D 3E by Guardians of Order had you rolling defense too. The only Game of Thrones game I have show back is the Song of Ice and Fire role playing game by, I believe, Green Ronin. And that uses like D6s and skill checks. And I'd have to dig it out and actually look at it. But it's a very strange game compared to more, whatever. But Green Ronin, man, like I said, I bemoaned the fact that Pramus went insane because I love Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Second Edition, the Green Ronin version. In my opinion, it is the peak pinnacle edition. There's never been a better edition, probably never will. But in 2016, the guy who designed it lost his mind. A 2003. One of my buddies had like what was it? The Wheel of Time role playing game for 3.5. And it had like different kinds of characters, and like only women could be mages or something. And the neatest thing about though is you got a defense bonus equal to your attack bonus. So a level 10 fighter would be plus 10 attack, plus 10 defense. And then I think it had a die 20 system that you rolled off on too. But it is true, back in the early 3000s, there were shit tons of like any property you could make a game on was,
Yeah.
And of course, I know this probably makes you cringe, Nerdy Ogre, but I think I may have sold them. No, they're still over there in that box. I have like every single book for Savage Worlds Rifts. And I decided if I'm ever going to play Rifts, I'll just play Rifts.
Yeah.
I, for the life of me, and I mean no disrespect to anyone, cannot figure out the attraction of Savage Worlds. I don't know what they're doing. But that doesn't mean anything. That's just me.
I don't have a beef with Savage Worlds as a whole. I've played a few of their games, and I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I just didn't like, and I haven't played it. I haven't played the Savage World Rifts, but from what I've seen of what they've done to the Dragon, the Juicer, and I've heard the Cyber Knight. Those are like the iconic character classes of Rifts, and the kind of just watered them down.
But I, can't really give you much of a opinion on that, since I don't know enough about actual Rifts to have an opinion on what I read in Savage Worlds Rifts. I mean, I just realized after reading Savage Worlds Rifts that I don't really like Savage Worlds. That's basically it. And at my local comic shop, or the one I go to when I do go, there's a whole group of gamers there. They call themselves Graybeard Gamers. And that's like all they play.
Savage World?
Savage Worlds. And they play like everything Savage Worlds, though. So it's like World War II campaigns and Vietnam campaigns and, driving your kids to school campaigns. And it's all Savage World, just everything, and they're always going off on me, like trying to tell me how awesome it is. And if, give a chance, it'll be the game you play from now on. And their main argument for it is once you learn the rules, you can play whatever you want and never have to learn any other rules. And I'm like, well, there is a certain amount of, that is definitely a little bit attractive. The idea that you could just, learn one set of rules. But the problem I have with Savage Worlds is that it comes off as more of a war game than a role play. Yes, I could see Savage Worlds for that, and I could see using the Savage World rules to play out like a skirmish level Wild West shootout, which is what it's based on. There was an old, it was an expansion for Deadlands, where you basically put together gangs and shot it out at each other. And at some point, that game becomes Savage Worlds, and then the original Deadlands they just let die. The Palladium system in general, Robert, we seem to. I mean, Robert did say he is a fan of Palladium's alignment, though, which I hear that all the time.
That's one thing about Palladium is like, no, love it or hate it, everybody seems to like the alignment system.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard people like just like totally dump all over Palladium, and at the end, but I really like their alignment system. They have a really great alignment system.
See, I don't know much about it because the only Palladium alignment system I have access to is Advanced Recon.
It's a little different, but
like in Advanced Recon, your character picks whether you're like benevolent, malevolent, altruistic, selfish, and then that determines basically how your character is going to generally act.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I think my opinion, the reason why people love the Palladium alignment system so much is because it spells it out. It tells you what the alignment, and,
right.
and like with Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, lawful good. Someone's playing a lawful good. Well, your character wouldn't do that. He's lawful good. Yeah. You ask 7 different people what lawful good means, and you get 7 different answers.
Right. But if you're playing a point man in Vietnam and your alignment is psychopath, you pretty much know what your character's about.
Yeah. What was it? There's a movie. There's a Vietnam movie, and they were in a helicopter flying over a rice field, and there's a bunch of people, like tending to the rice fields and everything. And the machine gunner, he's like how you tell the good ones from the bad ones. Here's what you do: you fire a few shots, and then and those that run, they've done something bad, so you shoot them. And the ones that don't run, they haven't done anything bad yet, but so you shoot them to stop them from doing something bad in the future. So
that is kind of a quote from Full Metal Jacket. And the machine gunner, they're flying in a Marine helicopter, and the machine gunner is just randomly shooting people in the rice fields.
Yeah.
And the one guy who's a reporter says, how do you shoot civilians like that? And he says, well, the ones that run are VC, and the ones that don't run are well-disciplined VC. And then the other guy's trying to throw up. And then the first guy, he says, well, how do you shoot women and children? He says, oh, it's easy. You just don't lead them so much. That's the scene. And he's just sitting there going off on that machine gun. And the other 2 guys are just like, and then, but the one guy, Private Joker, he tells you his motto when they ask him, kinda, is the dead know only one thing: it's better to be alive. And then there's another scene where an American guy gets killed, and Animal Mother, played by the guy that played Jane in Firefly, who is a psychopath. The guy is definitely, there's something wrong with him, right? They're all sitting there looking at the dead guy, and they're all saying, one guy's like, well, you're in a better place, and, see you around. And when it gets to Animal Mother, he's like, better you than me. And it's just like, wow. Okay. But yeah, in the movie, he's the one that's just covered in M60 belts, and he's got the freaking 60, big muscly guy, he's like, and his thing is he just wants to attack.
Yeah.
Like no matter what happens, he's like attack. And the commander's like, no, we wait. And he's like, fuck you. He jumps over the thing and just runs at him. Yeah. Because Adam Baldwin, exactly. They shot the black dude that Adam Baldwin's character, Animal Mother, had been all racist with. But somehow or another, it pissed him off really bad. So then he had to get payback. And they end up shooting this like 14-year-old Vietnamese girl, and she's begging to die. And Animal Mother at that time's the senior guy in the platoon. They're like, well, what do we do? And he's like, leave her to the rats. And the other guy's like, I can't do that. And Animal Mother's like, fine. You want to put her out of her misery? You do it. And he walks off, and Private Joker shoots her, you know. But yeah, the funniest scene when the Vietnamese hooker comes up and the black dude's like, how much? And she's like, no, tubuku, tubuku. And he whips his dick out. He's like, this is a fine example of Mississippi black snake, but ain't tubuku. And she's like, looks at it and she's like, okay. And then Animal Mother walks up and slaps him on the hand and says, you N-words must wait. And he takes the girl himself. And yet somehow those two were like weirdly buddies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the black dude told Joker, he's like, Animal Mother's crazy, but there's no one you'd rather have in a firefight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because dude just had ice water in his veins. And I think that Advanced Recon captures that kind of thing in their alignment system. Because like Animal Mother is basically doesn't care about anyone but him, but somehow does care about the guys on his team, though.
Yeah.
But ultimately, his goal is for him to live.
Right.
You know? And he does not care about the suffering of others. Like that girl that's laying there begging to die. Yeah, he's like, leave her to the rats. Let them eat her. You know, he just a weird kind of guy, right? But yeah, Adam Baldwin, man, that guy is so good in so many movies that people just don't even. There was a movie called Imposter, and he was in it with Gary Sinise. And in the end, it turned out that he was the target of the assassin. It was like Earth was covered with this dome, right? The cities were, and the aliens were constantly trying to penetrate the dome. And Adam Baldwin played this colonel, and his job was to catch the alien infiltrators, and he was really, really, really good at it. And then the whole time he thinks the aliens are out to kill the doctors, Gary Sinise and his wife. In the end, they were out to get him. He was the issue. And they lured him in right to the perfect spot, and they ganked him because he kept stopping them from infiltrating. He is a good actor, Showback. I think I will agree with you. He's definitely a top tier actor in my opinion. I've never seen him in anything bad. I mean, not trying to be that guy, but Jane was definitely by far my favorite character in Firefly. And if somebody sat down and said, we're going to make a traveler group based on Firefly, I would be like, I'm going to be Jane. You know, he's a redneck hillbilly from basically a moon that's nothing but mountains in Appalachia. And he's just trying to make it happen, man. He's, you know, he does good things on accident, which is funny. But anyway, so you don't have a favorite setting. See, my favorite setting was, after reading through it, definitely Dinosaur Land. The Southeast United States.
Well, yeah.
I thought that was cool. There was a lot of cool stuff going on there.
Well, like I said, it's like I haven't played them all, but the one I'm jonesing to play would be in Japan. I would love to
Japan,
play.
isn't that all like Cyber Knights and stuff?
Uh, no, actually, it's very. Japan is a land of extremes because the humans are basically divided into two groups, like extreme. Um, because what happened was is coming of whenever the rifts came, there were a couple of cities that just blipped out of existence. They just like disappeared, and from the city's perspective, they were only gone 3 days. From the rest of the world's perspective, they were gone for 300 years.
Wow.
And when they came back, it's like they came back and the land was like populated by demons and oni and creatures of legends, and that's actually whenever like the majority of the damage to those cities happened is they came back and they're like, okay, and all of a sudden Godzilla's attacking. And but for those 300 years, for everybody else, um, they went back to the Japanese feudal system, and they went back to the old ways because they believed that it was the spirits, the kami, uh, punishing them for abandoning the old ways and clinging to technology. So it was like, if like if somebody found a piece of technology, they would have to take it to a priest, and the priest would then say, determine whether it was acceptable to have or if it should be destroyed.
Huh.
So like if you found a cigarette lighter, that might be an acceptable thing to have because it doesn't really use technology. What's a cigarette lighter? It has fuel and spark.
Right.
You can achieve the same thing with with sake and flint and steel, which is
Right.
basically what it is. So a cigarette lighter might be acceptable. However, you find a cell phone, boom, bad. And then these cities came back and it's full of technology. And so they're like, no, it's like, okay, we came back, we got attacked, and we used our technology to save our butts. Screw that magic junk. We got technology. So on the one hand, you've got, the magic good, technology bad. On the other, you have technology good, magic bad. And so there's kind of like extremes, and
Right.
there's in the middle, like a lot of people is just the ones that have been here for 300 years. They're not like, oh, technology is evil, we've got to destroy you. It's like, no, we have to explain to you the way things are, that technology is bad. You have to come to this realization. So, and then those that were in the cities, they're like, well, you can't be mad at them, they're our descendants.
Right.
So it's like a techno wizardry doesn't exist in Japan because those that cling to magic stay away from technology. Those that cling to technology stay away from magic. So you can't mix the two. Nobody's thought of mixing the two.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
I could see how that would be fun.
yeah.
Like, are you going to play like, a samurai from like Ninja Scroll or something else?
Well, it would depend on like what angle the game master would want to run it. Are we running
Right.
from from the point of view of you were in the city, and it's like you've popped back in 300 years later, or were you there? Did you experience the three experience? There's none of them are none of the people that are here in Japan actually went through the 300 years. It's just they're descendants of the ones that
Right.
you know.
So basically, are you a modern, okay, our modern Japanese person, or are you a future Japanese person that's done away with technology?
Right.
I mean, it sounds cool.
And well, so the traditionalists, they of course they have ninjas and samurai and ronin and things like that. And then of course the modern, they had the same thing except modernized. A modern samurai is going to have power armor and cybernetics and things like that. And of course the traditionalists do not acknowledge the techno the techno samurais as true samurais
Right.
because they use technology.
Well, I mean, that makes sense that they would be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I have nothing to add. That makes sense.
And if I did, and if modern,
Right, Shellback.
right, yeah. Um, well, I would, if I had the choice, I would play the modern technophile, and the story I would come across is like my family. It's like my family was visiting Japan at the time of the rifts, so it was like I'd be an American that was in Japan whenever those cities, visiting one of those cities whenever they, and so,
Yeah.
and the and so um, my wife was one of the ones that were killed in an Oni attack, and
Oh, this is
well,
sounding like a Disney movie.
and while I was trying to defend it, I got trying to defend the city. Um, I got severely injured, and I went under the juicer conversion because my family's dead.
Sure.
And although I'm at this point, I would be considered a citizen of the. I'm still considered an outsider. So
See, that's funny because if you asked me the same question, I would want to play, and not that I'm trying to be like whatever, but I would definitely want to play like the super traditionalist samurai wandering around in like the blue robe with the white carps all over it and the wakasai, the dashio or whatever they call it, and just doing samurai shit. But I don't know. I would probably try to make a character that believed in the old ways, but didn't hate the people who stuck to technology.
yeah,
So, like, I think my character would work with people who stuck with technology to get shit done, but I just wouldn't use it for my own personal beliefs.
yeah. Well, think of it like um, um, the Amish.
Right.
It would be that. It's that. It's
And
like
that's the kind of guy I would be. I'd be doing all the traditional Ijitsu and all that shit. I just wouldn't, a Hawaiian clan samurai, right? I just wouldn't be like,
Oh no, Lion Clan.
yeah, he meant Lion Clan.
Yeah,
That's a
Lion.
different game, and you're damn right, Rob. Damn right.
I thought it would be Crab.
For
What,
me,
what no,
no,
well,
that's my brother.
because the Crab Clan weren't they the ones? Aren't they the ones like on the wall and they're more accepting of outsiders than
Well, the Crab Clan doesn't give a shit as long as you have some ability, skill, or knowledge that will help them hold the wall.
yeah.
That's all they care about.
Because
But since
there's like
the
a
beginning of L5R, and I'm talking the first freaking pack of L5R was released, edition 1 of the freaking card game, I bought the Lion starter deck, and I have been Lion forever. Crane's good. You know what the thing is, and I know we're getting off the topic of riffs, but the thing with L5R is I would almost challenge somebody to tell me which clan isn't good. And I mean specifically which clan you can't make a good character for and have a blast with. Because you can do it with all of them. It's just your personality. Like Lion
Right.
Clan, they're a little bit more militant and they're 100% about honor above all things. So if you want to play a tactician, a general, something like that, Lion, right? Crane, it depends with Crane Clan. Are you a master cartographer or are you a master duelist? Because they could be either. And then Crab Clan can be the simple dude on the wall with a big hammer crushing Oni skulls, but it can also be the slick dude kind of wandering around rooting out the corruption, like the secret police, basically. Unicorn paladins, female paladins, actually. Female paladins. There's a whole order of the unicorn knights that are basically Japanese. They're not even Japanese. They're Mongolians. Let's be honest. They're not the same people as the rest of Rokugan, but they're basically paladins, horse maidens. L5R is not only an amazing setting, my good sir, but if you get the right edition, which is first, second, fourth, it has an amazing system. It's called the roll and keep system. So let's say you got katana and its damage is 5k2. You roll 5 die 10 and they explode. So 10's reroll. And then you pick 2 of them to total. And then that would be your damage. If you want to attack somebody, you have your agility plus weapon skill. You roll that many dice. And then your void ring. So the 5 rings, fire, water, earth, void, and air, right? So your void ring is the number of dice you get to keep, but your attributes and your skills combine, and that's the number you get to roll. And I'll tell you what, I mean, even the older edition of the game, first edition, which I have, it gives you rules for like if you want to double, triple, or quadruple the player's hit points. Because if you play it straight with 1 times hit points, any hit could be the one that kills you. Because you have something like, I don't know, 15 or 20 wound levels. But like I said, 5k2 with a katana, if that guy gets a couple exploding dice, guess what? You're dead. You just died. Whack. And then it's the same thing that you have kaijutsu, aijutsu, kinjutsu. Those are your fighting. So it's like battle, hand-to-hand combat, dueling, archery is a jitsu, and the level of skill you have is the dice you roll. So, and unlike most Western games, your to hit roll in L5R is based on your agility. damage is based on strength, but your ability to hit somebody is based on how agile you are. Anyway, sorry about that. L5R is one of my truly most beloved games of all time. And I am easy to freaking get distracted. Just, it has, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Nerdy Ogre, but the lore, the playable careers, because you can't really call them classes, professions, the clans, the sub clans. That game, you can play a whole game of that game, a whole campaign really, that happens during winter when you've been invited to a daimyo's fortress for the winter court. And during that time, since everyone's invited, like all the different clans, you have, you know, people trying to get information, cut deals, sleep around on their wives, etc. And then there's also like competitions. The daimyo, you know, everyone's there to have a good time, right? So there could be this thing where one day they decide they're going to go out into the courtyard and have an archery competition, or a who can write the best haiku, or who can do this or who can do that. And it all matters as far as your honor, which reflects directly on your clan's honor and your family's honor. And yeah, so, and that is just a part of the game. That's before you start exploring around. You, like in the game, you could become an imperial magistrate or work for an imperial magistrate, which makes you basically a group of randoms that wanders the entire empire just trying to put out the fires. You know what I mean? It's like you're hanging out in some village and you get word that there's been an outbreak of undead near this village, and now you have to travel there to put a stop to it and find out why, right? Which is when you would really want that Crab Clan interrogator. Here, you know what I mean, investigator. Now, if my brother wasn't playing Crab Clan, he was playing Dragon Clan, and he was playing an Ichizumi, I think, a tattooed man. And in L5R, the tattooed men of the Dragon Clan, because the ink is magical, you get to pick a number of tattoos that you start with, and they give you abilities. So, like, if you get tattooed with the dragon on your body, you're like this kung fu monk, but you can breathe fire. And there's one of them that allows you to jump across the top of bamboo without, like, falling, because you basically don't weigh anything. And there's tons of stuff like that. A mini con, yeah. You know, the thing is, Showback, I've probably already told you enough that you could play the game. It's like grab a handful of die tens, you're ready to go. That's how simple this game is. It's like, I want to attack. Okay, you roll your skill plus agility in die 10, and you keep whatever your fire ring is, which typically is 2 to start. Oh, you hit. Well, okay, then you roll, it's a katana, so you roll 5 dice, and you keep 2. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, man. Huh. See, I don't know a whole lot about actual Japanese culture. I've never been a super weeb. Everything I know about Japanese culture is generally, I watched a shitload of Samurai Champloo. I watched Ninja Scrolls, obviously, because, I mean, you know, that's like everyone's got to watch Ninja Scroll. And I've watched the Kurosawa films, Yojimbo and Ron and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't actually know very much about, like, my wife and I were talking, and I said, if I ever went to Japan, I would just be quiet because I don't know shit. And I would just be like, you know, watching. I do love how in Japan you can go to a convenience store and just make ramen for yourself. It's like, I mean, you pay for it obviously,
Yeah.
but you can just go in there and put your coins in or swipe your card, and then they got a whole thing set up so you can make ramen, and they got toppings if you want ginger or kimchi or whatever. I seen that and it was like, wow. Yes. That's probably why you know so much about it. I've always been way more interested in, I guess you could say Eastern Europe, but specifically Eastern Rome, Rome in general, Eastern Rome specifically, and then a lot of the Slavic cultures, um, and a touch of Scandinavian and Irish. I even really don't know a whole lot about what I would consider far Western Europe. So France, Spain, Portugal, most of Britain. I don't even, just not something yeah, conveyor belt sushi. I mean,
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to dream about uh, shipping a Harley over to Japan and just taking a tour in Japan. The dreams of youth.
when I was in my 14 and 15-year-old phase, I used to dream of moving to Africa and living like on the Serengeti. That's looked down upon now, but back then I basically wanted to become an Afrikaner. I wanted to wear one of those cool hats, wear the clothes, and drive around in like a freaking what are those British SUVs? You know that they're out off road 4x4s, Range Rover. Yeah, that was kind of my deal back in the day. I dreamed of moving to like Kenya, and instead I grew up and joined the army, which turned out better.
That's one of my biggest regrets.
What? Not moving to Kenya?
No, not joining the Marines.
Don't regret it, man. We do what we do when we do what we do. And regretting it will not make it any better either way. You know?
Well, I mean, I don't like dwell on it or anything. Just
Good.
if I had it to do all over again,
I don't think I'd change much in my life, except I probably wouldn't have married. Well, see, I can't really say that because it's like if I didn't marry the first ex, who was an absolutely horrible person, then I wouldn't have my daughters, who are absolutely awesome. So, yeah, that would put me on a spot. You know what I mean? So, I think looking back on everything, the only thing I would have changed about my life is when I was in my 20s and maybe 30s, not even 30s. In my 20s, I would have been nicer to people. That's the one thing I regret is, yeah. So if I went back in time, I would just want to be nicer to people because I was a very unkind human being when I was young. And yeah, and it's not good, you know? So, but otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. You know, I did the best I could with the limited information I had, sir. You know what I mean? American Harleys have a high rate of theft in Japan. I bet. I bet you as soon as he rolled up with that Harley freaking flat tail or panhead or whatever, every Yakuza guy in the whole island of Japan would be salivating. They'd be like, yeah, we're getting that. Don't worry about it. He came on a Harley. He's going to be riding around here on a Honda moped. We're done. But, well, Showback, I believe, lives in Japan. I believe. Unless I'm mistaking him for someone else, which could be possible. Lives in or lived in at one time was. So yeah, there is that. But look, man, you live in Texas, possibly one of the greatest states in the world. So I don't know what you're worried about, right?
I'm not worried about much.
Right. And according to my YouTube watching lately, all of the Europeans love Texas. Couldn't get enough of it. They were just dying there. Seeing these guys literally bursting into tears while they were being put on the airplane because they had to go back to freaking Europe.
I'm watching. I'm watching them now. I've seen those, and well, it's not just Texas. It's all of America, and they've just all over the like all the small towns and everything like that. Everything in between is like we've been lied to all our lives. We were told that America was this horrible place and unsafe and people getting shot in the streets on a daily basis. None of it's true.
Well, I mean, if you live in like one of the worst areas, like if you live in like Compton,
New York, Detroit,
yeah, or like some of the
Chicago,
really shitty place uptown in New York, like
Dearborn.
where the streets get into the triple digits and shit. Yeah. But if you're hanging out in like Orlando, unless you literally go out of your way to try to find the hood in Orlando, you're just not going to find it. I mean, it does exist, but you got to know where it is, and it's really easy not to go there. Plus, the cops are always there making sure you don't. Because Orlando, I don't know how where you live is. I assume Austin. No?
San Antonio.
Nice. Florida is a police state. Don't let anybody lie. But I like it. And I don't mean they're kicking your door in and doing bad shit all the time. I just mean we have a lot of cops and they aggressively pursue crime. So
Florida cops don't put up with shit.
Yeah, every time you watch these guys getting buck wild on TV, it's like Pinellas County, Florida. And some dude runs up and just snatches somebody out of a car. And it's like, because, yeah.
I love that one interview. I forget where it was in Florida, but some bad guy got shot like over 100 times with 100 bullets, and the reporter asked the sheriff, "Was like, why did you shoot him over 100 times?" Because we ran out of bullets.
That is, I believe, Grady Judge, Sheriff Grady Judge.
Yeah,
He's
that sounds
also
right.
the one who said, if somebody tries to break into your house, take your gun and blow them out the other side of the door.
Yeah.
And people are always like, well, do you think it's right that you tell people they should shoot people? And he's like, if somebody tries to break in your house, shoot them. Yes, I think that is right. So, yeah, that guy is buck wild. And he's been the sheriff for like 20 damn years. Take your nap, homie, and have a great one at work. Yeah, Polk County, man. When he got elected to be the sheriff, Polk County was like the meth crack central of Central Florida. He straightened that shit right up real quick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is just the nature of living in the Sunshine State. You can do basically anything you want, and no one will mess with you. I mean, we do have Florida Man, and he is a thing, but there's a line. And if you step too far over that line, you will get shot 100 times. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean?
And nobody will mourn you.
And you will not be mourned, no. And that's why when I talk about my adventures of being arrested, I always say I never ran. Like if they caught me, they caught me. Silent and compliant, polite. Because, I mean, you go to jail and either you get out or you don't. But if you F around with one of these cops, man, he'll put you down. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope nobody wants
It's
that.
just like people just got. I don't know if like people just got stupid or if like the stupid is becoming more obvious. I don't know which is the case. Maybe a little bit of both. It's like I saw this video on YouTube. This woman got arrested because her car was not stolen. Now,
Did she call in and say it was?
yes, see, um, some happened. Her car was missing. Her car went missing. She reported it stolen. She got the car back, and she didn't report it and say, "I got my car back." Well,
Ah,
she was out doing something, running errands, living her life, and a cop drives by, sees her car. It's like, wait a minute, I remember on the hot sheet we had a car make and model like that. So he runs the plates. Oh, it's reported stolen. I better check this out. And she's like, well, this is my car. It's like, okay, well, I need to see ID and registration. And all she had to do was just show her ID, show the registration, keep her mouth shut.
yep.
The cop was going to like,
And he would have been like, oh, okay, cool.
okay, this is clearly your car. I put it on there that you have your car, and you're not going. But no, she started running her mouth, and for something that would have taken only 5 minutes, 45 minutes later, there's a group of people around. He has to call him back up, because there's a group of people. She has her daughter in the car, and she gets arrested.
That is such a common story, man. And you already learned the lesson. You said the right thing right there. If you kept your fucking mouth shut and just handed the paperwork over, it'd have been,
here's my driver's license, here's my registration.
Gone about your way, man. Have a great day. Look, I don't know if you ever watch Asmongold. I know some people hate him, some people love him. But occasionally Asmongold does these like videos where he just watches like cop footage, like from the cameras they have to wear. 9 times out of 10 it's Florida, and 9 times out of 10 it's a woman who just will not shut the fuck up. And the cops are talking to them like they're kindergartners. They're like, well, okay, ma'am, and being super nice. And then there's always that point where you can tell shit's getting ready to get real. Because you can hear the cop talking, and he's talking, and then he'll be like, if you keep that up, I'm going to have to take you to jail. And that's when you know. And of course, they never shut up. And it gets so wild, they'll have this woman on the ground, face planted, putting cuffs on her, and she will be telling them they can't arrest her. And it's like
I have cuffs on you, and I'm putting you in the back of my squad car. Tell me I can't arrest you.
Right. And that's why I always wonder. I'm like, okay, these women hear this somewhere. So who's going around telling like 45-year-old women they can't be arrested? Because that guy needs to stop. Because I've seen women get pulled over for something stupid and end up walking away with like 5 felonies. And it's just like because she just wouldn't shut up. It's like that's all you got to do. Shut your mouth. Let the cop do what the cop's going to do. He's going to go away. You can go on about your business. Take the ticket. You can fight it in court. But the second you get lippy with them, I mean, they're not going to deal with that shit.
Yeah. It's like you fight it in the court, not the streets. You fight it in the streets, you're going to lose every time.
You're going to lose that.
Every time.
But, damn, we've been all over the place. And we started with riffs. And I am not opposed to talking about riffs if that's what you want to talk about. I am 100% not opposed. Like I said, I have my experience. I'm not going to dog on you too bad. Well, maybe a little, but it's playful about whatever you like. But at the end of the day, man, honestly,
I'm not
I don't
thin-skinned.
care that much. And if you found a game you really loved, I'm pretty much just happy for you, you know? That's pretty much how I actually feel about it. So yeah, I mean, what kind of guy spends their whole time trying to, make somebody else feel away because they chose to play a game? It's like, get over yourself, man. I don't even do that with 5e players. If there's anyone that would be an easy target, it'd be your 5e players.
I know
Give a
I
damn
know
if they're
absolutely
playing
nothing about
5e.
5e. I can't rip on it. Um, I know absolutely nothing. I couldn't tell you the difference between 4e and 5e. Even I couldn't even tell you if there was a difference.
Well, I might rip on 5e as a product. I won't rip on people who play it. Yeah. Bought a car in the dealership, reported it stolen. Yeah, we got some idiots, Rob. But yeah, so I might say I
Good night,
don't like.
Robert.
All right, off to bed. Good night, homie. Yeah, I might totally say I don't like this game for this reason, or this reason, but I mean, people who like it, like it. Knock yourselves out.
My
You know, that bother
my
me.
my gripe is that like every 5-10 years
Oh, cold
they,
irons.
they they put out another edition and you've got to get all new books for that.
Howdy, James.
How you doing, bro?
Oh, a little tired.
Well, I mean, you've been working man. What have
Oh,
I done?
uh-oh. A little
I'm
spun
going
around.
buck wild over here, aren't I? I'm just doing whatever I want. I think it might have been Max, because heaven forbid, no matter what I'm watching on TV, as soon as it ends, Legion of Myth comes on. I think that, I don't know if Max has hacked my fucking YouTube or something. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's him and freaking Heathen Dog talking about freaking Robotech or some shit, right? But the point is that, yeah, I just don't. I mean, people can just play wherever they want to play. I don't care.
They should be forced to play the correct thing.
Oh, and that's what Max said that I forgot. But then Cold Iron, thank you. You reminded me.
Not
As
only the
Max
correct
said,
thing, but correctly.
yeah, you got to play the correct game the correct way. As Max said, I believe, I hope I'm not misquoting, no one makes you buy new books. There are a lot of people in the world right now still playing AD&D second edition.
Oh, yeah.
And when third came out, and 3.5 and 4 and 5 and 5.5 and 5.26, these dudes never bought a bit of it. They just kept playing seconded. And like, I'm that way with Shadowrun. I haven't bought an edition of Shadowrun since like the third edition, and I play second.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it's true, but he also says that, and this is true as well, that and that's great if you have a core group.
Right.
If you have a core group of guys, guys you've been playing with since high school, that's great. That's fine. But if you don't have a core group or you're trying to bring people in, these people they see 5e being played on Critical Role and whatever else is out there,
Right.
and that's the edition that they see. That's what they want to play.
Right.
And so
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. A lot of new players, they walk into the comic shop and they're like, however old they are, it doesn't matter. And they've got it into their mind that I'm going to play D&D And as soon as they walk in a comic shop, the guy who owns the comic shop hands them their fresh new set of 5e bullshit and sends them down the way. And that can't be helped. I mean, it really can't.
Right.
For the guy who just wakes up one day and decides he wants to get in the hobby. The only hope is that after a while, he'll hang out with other people and they'll be like, hey, have you ever heard of, Shadowrun, Cyberpunk, etc., etc.? And then, with time, their gaming will expand, I believe. I mean, you got a lot of people who the COVID era should have been called the tourist era.
It's exactly what it was.
Yeah, because 5e blew up, but look how many of those guys are left.
Fucking Call of Cthulhu blew up too.
Well,
Like that was ridiculous.
Call of Cthulhu is like the number one role-playing game in Japan, right?
I could believe it.
It is.
Yeah, they go for that horror genre.
They dig it. And in Japan, the majority of role players are women.
I mean, it's also full of like tons of Japanese fandoms, like jazz era stuff that Japan just gobbles up.
Right. You've got the 1920s and you've got tentacles. What else could the I mean, it's everything they love.
That's why, if I was going to introduce Palladium to Japanese, I would run Nightbane.
Is that the one where you made? Is that the one where you made that firefighter monster for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I like the whole bunker gear, but the guy inside's a burning skeleton or whatever. That was kind of cool. I was like, that's nifty. But I got this plastic from the Conan board game Conan I'm painting. And it looks, I don't know if this is supposed to be the Conan from the movie where he's getting ready to fight Thulsa Doom and all that shit. He's got like a weird horned helmet on. And is he supposed to be a gladiator? I've been playing too much Conan, Cold Iron.
Is like was it like a console game or something? Or
no, I've been playing Conan Exiles.
oh, okay. Is that what you've been doing for days now?
Yeah, sadly. Or not sadly.
I get off work and I'm bored as shit, and I'm like, oh, no James stream. That's sad. Hope he's okay. All right,
okay, sir. Hey,
guess I'll sit in the corner and cry and rock back and forth, drink excessively, existential crisis.
Don't even try it with me, man. I have been in contact with you every night.
Only my cats come and check on me because they're hungry.
I check on you. You can't guilt me. I talk to you every night. He gets home at like 2 a.m. and I hear my computer go bling, bling, bling. I know who it is. And I just pick up and look at whatever he's doing and send him a couple.
Hey, man, somebody has to stand vigil at night,
That's true.
Some of us lose our vitamin D so everyone can sleep soundly.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Oh, it's been cloudy as hell, though, so that's been merciful.
It stormed here so hard today that it was just like, what in the F is happening?
Oh, God, that sounds like heaven. Anything that hides the evil day orb.
Well, it was hidden because we were basically getting enough. I mean, it was, I can't even describe it. How it was pretty much like the whole outside was just water falling. There was almost no room between one raindrop and another.
Just sheets. Just a sheet. Okay.
And it's just like, well, okay. But no, we were a second ago, Cold Iron, we're talking about riffs a little bit, people's experiences with that. Nah.
Yes, that's one of the dark corner games.
Riffs is one of your games? You like Riffs?
Oh, no, Riffs was one of the games that, like, told you coming up, there was always the guys in the corner, and it was either Riffs, GURPS, or Gamma World, or something like. If it wasn't 40K, if it wasn't D&D or Magic the Gathering, they were strange, alien, underground folk. Don't talk to them. You know, and it was always Riffs or GURPS or Gamma World or something adjacent.
I mean, sadly, yeah.
But they
Yeah.
wouldn't talk to anybody else. That's what was fucked up. We'd sit there and just look at them and be like, it's like a cult. They come here just to play that game, and they ordered books just for that game. They do nothing else. It's like I've never even heard of this game.
In my game store, for the longest time when I was very
Oh,
young,
God. He's one of them.
it was
Weirdo.
Yeah, he's
Fucking
one of them.
weirdo. It's a,
In my game
It's
store,
like you know me.
it was Traveler. And if you walked up, like, say you were 16-year-old James, and you're like, oh, I like sci-fi. And these guys start asking you physics questions and shit. And you're just like, I thought this was like Star Wars.
it's later I learned how involved the games were. And so they were probably in the corner just because they were trying to avoid us big mouth kids.
Maybe. No, Nerdy Ogre is one of our resident. Between him and Max, Heathen Dog, there's maybe a couple others in our little circle that are the Riffs guys. That's their deal. That's what they like. I was saying earlier, I'm not a guy who really. I may not like a game, but I will not make fun of somebody for playing it. Unless it's Thirsty Sword Lesbians, in which case I will never invite you to my house.
You know, if it was at a convention, if it was a convention setting, I'd try it at least once.
Like,
No other scenario.
It depends. Is the transvestite running it hot?
I mean, even if it was a table full of troons and like, you know, a veritable
why I
grab
asked
bag
what
of
I
mystery
asked.
meat.
If the woman running it was hot, maybe I'd sit in just because it's
No, see,
you know?
well, I learned to steel myself up with that stuff long time ago. You know, it's like
Man,
a
I'm
hot
not bigger
Jew.
up. I'm just saying,
It's like a really attractive Jewish woman walking down the street. You know she's never gonna convert, so just leave her alone. Don't touch. She will deny Christ to her dying day. Just let her walk by. So you steel yourself in those moments. But let's, for the sake of argument, say, yeah, the trainee's really hot, passable. Okay,
passable because they're never
passable.
going to
There
be
you
hot.
go.
They're going to be passable though.
There you go. I mean, if it's a convention setting, I'll try anything with anyone. I mean, take that for what you will, but
Well, I'm going to take it for playing games and
that's how it was meant.
In like a broom closet.
Yeah, it's how I ended up playing. I think Alpha Blue Vengers game
Oh yeah.
based on
It's not-
heavy metal. That game nasty. That game is nasty as hell.
It's basically a sci-fi sex game.
It's a giant pleasure station.
Yes.
And one of the random things you encounter as soon as you walk on there is a woman slowly inserting a space pineapple up her vagina, and there's a crowd watching her.
You know who did some of the art for that?
Some other nasty motherfucker.
Satine Phoenix.
Some other nasty.
Yeah. I believe Satine did. Yeah, a lot of Vengers really, really early stuff was pretty fucking wild. Is that Venger though, or was that Grim Gem?
I'm thinking. I want to say it was Venger.
Yeah, I don't know. But they both had some like,
Double check that.
yeah, they were again not the kind of people. You know, I got invited to a 3-5 game a long time ago, and when I showed up,
Yep, it's Venger.
yeah,
Yeah, I was right.
there was a bunch of it was a bunch of guys, one of whom I worked with at the city wire department, and they had the 3-5 erotic D&D book, I never went back. Eventually,
Oh,
they stopped
the
asking.
book of erotic fantasy,
Oh yeah, yeah.
dude.
They
The
had that
best
shit on
thing,
the table, and I was like, nah.
the best thing in that are the goblin STDs, like the STDs you can catch from goblins and orcs.
Yeah, that's what years ago, whenever I first got into the hobby, I bought the Book of Vile Darkness.
That's a great book.
That's a pretty decent book, but nowhere near as good as the Book of Exalted Deeds, as far as like for just options, character options. Oh gosh.
Well, one of them was for characters, and the other
I
one was for
think, but
villains. Hopefully,
Well, they were
depends
both
on the
I
game you're
props.
remember
playing, right?
Technically, they were both props. So
I remember
Right.
flipping through it, and it's like they named it. It had good ideas. I'll give you that, but the title was misleading because a lot of the stuff in there I wouldn't consider vile darkness. I mean, it was good for like evil campaigns and like the for big bad evil guys, to put up against the party and all that. Yeah, but I wouldn't have called it the Book of Vile Darkness.
I think they were. Well,
did you ever read what the
Vile Darkness.
Despoiler of Flesh did?
The Book of Vile Darkness actually exists in the D&D.
Yeah, and the Book of Exalted Deeds.
Yeah, those are actual. So it would be like playing Call of Cthulhu and encountering a rough copy of the Necronomicon or Book of Ibon or some shit. What's up, Big James? So, do you remember though the wizard from the Book of Vile Darkness that had all the little like starving children chained to him? And he just walked around fireballing the shit out of everything.
The only thing that sticks out in my memory is the Despoiler of Flesh, the wand made of tongues that the guy created because he wanted to force himself on his two daughters, but instead he invented this wand to turn slave girls into his daughters so he could have them instead.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is there was some wild shit in that book.
It was vile and there was some darkness.
But
Yes.
you are right. The Book of Exalted Deeds
Oh
was
God.
what the players actually wanted.
Oh my
It
God.
had all the best stuff.
The ascetic monk build and all that stuff, the sacred strike for rogues, like that stuff is just excellent.
Yeah. So
Okay, so what I understand is I'm going to have to get you, Cold Iron, and I'm going to have to get James in a Rifts game.
I've never played it ever in my life. I would not know where to begin. It's strange and foreign.
Don't worry, I'll walk you through it.
it's
I'm
actually,
already afraid. I'm scared.
if you've ever played AD&D, you can play Riffs.
I've played lots of AD&D.
Then
Okay,
there
I'm
you
in. There you go.
Yeah. Well, see how the Palladium system got started is Kevin Samhita was
was
playing.
doing LSD in his garage.
It was playing AD&D and
While doing
there's
LSD.
stuff in there that is like, I don't like the way this is. I don't like the way they did this, so I'm just going to change house rule it this and house rule that and change this and do all this other stuff. And eventually, one of his buddies came up to him and says, "You realize we're no longer playing AD&D anymore. This is a completely new game. So what you should do is you should copyright it and start printing it and sell it." And now we've got Palladium Fantasy, Riffs, Ninjas and Super Spies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, After the Bomb.
So forgive my ignorance, but is Rifts a science fiction game, or is it? I mean, is it like a fantastical science fiction, or is it? Okay.
Let me sum up Riffs in one sentence. Imagine RoboCop and Merlin standing side by side fighting against Cobra.
Oh God.
Except you have to remember one thing, though, that he left out. Cobra are the good guys. And those Robocop and Merlin, they can get effed in the A directly.
This sounds factional.
There are a lot of factions in Rifts.
What I would say is that you're familiar with ley lines, right? The concept of them.
Yes.
So imagine if everywhere on the earth that ley lines crossed, a gate opened up to somewhere or when, and shit came out of it. And they were all different. That's Rifts.
It sounds like some Chris Chan writings, but all right.
No, parts of it are completely awesome. The setting is actually, I mean, I personally love the bad guys, but I think they're the good guys. And but I also like Dinosaur Land, which is basically Florida and Alabama and South Carolina. Mexico's ruled over by like a kingdom of vampires, and vampires in Rifts are not to be effed with. They're like next to impossible to kill. If you don't know how to kill a vampire, I mean, they can live through about anything, really, you know. And then like Montana is nothing but giant alien insects building giant termite mountains all over the fucking place. And and it just gets weirder from there. Plus Atlantis.
So it's very gonzo.
But it's not gonzo in the way people say gonzo. You're not going to run into a banana guy with a rusty spear trying to rob you for your freaking, used condoms or some shit.
Okay, yeah, it's not
good.
I get it's not in the realm of absurd, maybe, but it's definitely a bunch of genres touching wieners together, right?
I would say it's kind of like Shadowrun, honestly.
I hate Shadowrun.
Doesn't go as far as Rift does. You hate Shadowrun?
I hate Shadowrun.
I love Shadowrun.
Well, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad people enjoy it. I've been invited to play many times and never once did I enjoy myself. I said, this is just not me.
Well,
that urban fantasy fused with technology and magic, I admittedly hate it.
A lot of people do.
I like good old-fashioned everything in their place segregation.
A lot of people do.
Doesn't mean I won't try it, though.
I'll tell you this. Shadowrun does keep everything segregated if you play the earlier editions, because while magic and technology both exist, neither the two shall meet. So if you're a mage, you're a mage, but you cannot use technology. It will F up your mage link.
I mean, like I said, I'm willing to try it again because every game can be presented differently with someone else.
Right.
Like I could go from hating this game because it's how they presented the material with the material they ran us through. So I'll always try something with somebody else.
Right.
That's what I tell him.
That's what that's exactly.
Because he had a bad experience with Rifts. And I'm like, from everything he tells me is like, dude, it sounds like you had a game master that didn't really know what he was doing.
Yeah, I take that into account big time. It's like, now it's one thing if the material is just kind of like but it's different on paper and in application, right. Like if you handed somebody the AD&D PHB, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm good. But it's different if you sit them down at the table and walk them through it. All of a sudden they're having fun.
Right.
See, that's the thing. In order, the best way, the way to have the best experience with Rifts is if you have a game master that understands and knows how to use the word no.
See, that's
it Rifts has everything, but you don't need to use everything.
And that is the big failing of Rifts, and it's not Rift's fault.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people want to use every single thing, and then they end up with just not a lot of fun. Me, I already know the campaign I would like to play. I want to play a Coalition Samus fighter, and I want to blow the shit out of everything that's not human. Except for dog boys. They're my homies. Love me some dog boys. And I will
Well,
not
dog boys are
tolerate people.
coalition. You'd get in trouble. You'd get in trouble if you just blew them up for the sake of blowing them up.
I will not tolerate anyone abusing or mistreating my doggies.
It's like in modern day military. It's like
Yep.
the canine outranks the handler.
All right.
For
Now the cat people, I'm like, whatever. Fucking
Come
go
on, man.
nuts with those.
Come on, man. Packs of roaming dogs are a pestilence. Packs of roaming cats spared the Franciscans the plague. Come on, man.
Yeah, that might be true, but
Mhm.
imagine a pack of roaming Pomeranians.
That would be called a tuft, wouldn't it?
It would. And it would be the best thing you ever saw in your life.
I don't know if they think you have cheese, man. They might just nip you to death.
You have a tuft, so you know.
I do. I do.
Every time I talk to my wife about picking another one up, she reminds me that we travel a lot.
And they love to travel.
And we've got the one who we always take with us everywhere. But adding more to that becomes more of a complication, you know.
Gosh, my mom's got the car seats in the back of her Jeep. She hauls 4 Pomeranians with her.
I'll tell you what, my boy, he recognizes the name of a certain store down at the corner where we go sometimes to get myself the 0 sugar Coke. And if he hears that name, he flips the F out because he wants to go so bad. You know what I mean? And so we always take him, which means even though she's going to the store, I have to go because we can't leave the pup in the car alone, right? So I get in the car and he'll sit right on my leg and we'll drive, come right back, and then he's happy as hell for like.
She doesn't do the pommy mommy thing where she just takes it in everywhere with her.
No.
It's a weird thing that like you can take a Pomeranian almost anywhere. It's like ninja magic. There's just nobody will say a word if it's a woman just carrying a Pomeranian.
Yeah, well, because they know better. The last thing you want is to get in some beef with some woman and her fur baby. I mean that's just not ever going to be a good plan. You know,
I don't mind.
It's like today I'm going to wake up and start some shit with a crazy Karen and a dog. Nah, not me. It's like, you guys can enjoy yourselves. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and just get my soda and move on.
I mean, I grew up with pets, so I can't think of a scenario where I would ever actively complain that there's an animal in a business. Like, even if I was eating at a restaurant and a dog was seated right near me, I wouldn't give a shit. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Some people are weird like that.
I'd just be like, all right, you know, there's a pup.
But that is my caveat in riffs, though.
Is there
Because
must be Pomeranians fixed with artillery.
Well, I don't know about Pomeranians specifically, but one of the things that the coalition has are dog soldiers. And they're actually genetically engineered humanoid dogs. And I am a huge fan of these freaking dog soldiers. I think that they are probably one of the coolest things that Kevin Symbiote or whatever ever made.
I feel like there's a horror movie called Dog Soldiers.
There was, where werewolves attack a bunch of British guys.
Okay.
But, or I think they're British, might have been Australian. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure.
So
They were
they
European.
use their dog soldiers for like recon and stuff like that, you know, because, you know, they're dog soldiers, so why wouldn't you? And yeah, man, I've always been. You can play a dog soldier, actually. I believe it's an OCC you can actually play.
That was one of my that was the first character I played in Risk was a dog soldier.
Well, they
No,
give
boy.
you the out that you play a dog soldier or an ex-coalition guy that's realized that trying to exterminate all the aliens is wrong. Except I don't like that out. I'm like, no, fuck that. Let's lean into it. You know what I mean? And people have asked me like, but blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't care. This is Earth. They don't belong here. And it's apparently my job to be, coalition's basically ICE. They pretty much just cruise around and deport motherfuckers. It's like, but I mean, the leader is a corrupt, evil man. And most of the people who live in the Chi-Town area have the education of like maybe a second or third grader. They had this very need to know basis kind of thing in their society. So if you're going to be a soldier, you are going to learn enough to be a soldier.
Yeah.
And
80 to
generally not
90% of coalition citizenry are illiterate.
Right. Because they don't need to read. That's basically it. The whole coalition is supposedly set up around the basis of creating a massive army and wiping out all the shit that came through the rifts. But there's some DL bullshit going on that might even be against that. You know what I mean? Like members of the high command might just be saying that, but in reality, they don't actually care. And then other guys are fanatically crazy. It just really depends.
Introduce you to the Blackguard.
Now, what doesn't depend is that dog boys are awesome. That's a thing.
Boys are
The
awesome.
problem, though, is their OCC is so weak compared to some of them that you really need to be. That's the other thing that Nerdy Ogre is 100% right about, because he knows more about this than me, is you have to pick a power level that everyone in the group's playing at and that the campaign's based around. Because if you have a dog boy in the same group as, like, I don't know, a glitter boy, I mean, that shit can get weird. Because if the glitter boy fires his main gun and the dog boy isn't undercover, it kill him. Even if he's not even, I mean, if he's within 100 yards of that freaking glitter boy, the recoil on that thing might just squish his ass. So they have all these different like power levels, and you got to watch that.
It's called a boom gun. What it does is it sends it fires its ammunition at supersonic speed, and if it's fired and you don't have ear protection, you're deaf. That's just it. Your eardrums just got blown out because it went from 0 to breaking the sound barrier in a matter of seconds.
This gun is so powerful that before the mech can fire it, it has to anchor itself to the earth. Like it plants its feet and then drives pylons into the earth before it can fire this gun. Because if it fired it otherwise, it'd probably knock it on its ass. And yeah. So you've got so much power coming out of a boom gun that if you are an unarmored guy anywhere in the front 90 degrees within a certain range, it's just going to liquefy your interior, And so that's what I'm saying about. That's what I'm saying about having the right power levels. When I played the game, the guy allowed everything. So we had people who were not even as strong as a human, and we had someone playing literally like the voice of God. And that didn't work out great.
See, now, if I ever played in a Risk game that someone was playing a glitter boy, I would choose to play a techno wizard. And what I would do is I would fiddle with the boom gun to make it silent.
Yeah. Use your magic to buff it or whatever.
Yeah. So a lot like
Buffing mechs with magic. what in the hell is going on?
That's Riffs.
That's Riffs. It's techno wizardry is magic powered by science.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
They
The
added
science
that
powered
to
by
fourth
magic.
edition, fourth or fifth edition Shadowrun, and that's one of the reasons I don't play that edition.
Folks got a boner for this stuff for real.
Who does?
I said just people in general. It's like I keep running into these people. Everybody loves this giant buffet slushy of just
Well, I
my mech has magic
mean,
powers and I can jump out of my mech and pull my vibro sword, then cast a spell. And it's like, bro, come on. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try it. Doesn't mean I'm not, game. I'm down for whatever. But holy fuck, like combo plate. Order off the menu just once.
well, the thing with Rifts, though,
It's cool
as
looking
it
art.
is on the menu.
That's the glitter boy.
Yeah, the Glitter Boy was created by the United States before the downfall of the United States, when like everything very first started going to hell in a handbasket. It was like this giant super secret thing. And what wasn't it like to fight the Rifts? Simon Belmont. Hello, Simon Belmont.
Oh,
You sound
Simon.
like a vampire.
No, NEMA.
Oh, what's up,
NEMA,
Simon?
Northern Eagle Military Alliance. Basically, Canada, the U.S., and Mexico got together and said, all this human trafficking and these drug lords and the gun smuggling, we're going to put a stop to it. So
And-
all the alphabet
And their
agencies,
answer was a glitter boy.
all the alphabet agencies got smushed together into one, and they were given carte blanche. So NEMA NEMA was across Canada, U.S., and Mexico. So a Mexican NEMA agent could travel through the U.S. into Canada in pursuit of the bad guys and everything. And same thing with Canada and U.S. They just had like carte blanche to go into any one of these.
This is getting weird. This
See,
is
I
getting
saw the
real
picture
fucking
of
weird.
Chaos America or something, or whatever, and it had the glitter boy with the American flag, and I thought that's cool. But I like mechs. That's the thing. I like mechs, but I don't necessarily generally like mechs with magic. And one thing about Shadowrun that is different than Rifts, and you probably know this, Simon's asking where you been, bro, is like in Shadowrun,
Oh,
magic and technology cannot touch. But then in like fourth or fifth edition, they invented the Technomancer,
hell you
which
mean? I've been here, been right here.
which is lame as shit. No, I was just saying the name Simon Belmont sounds like a freaking vampire.
Oh, this is from
Chaos Earth.
Castlevania.
Yeah, I like the
Hmm.
cover. They do have good cover for their books. Good art. But I totally do get where you're coming from, Cold Iron. And you're not the only guy that's like that. Like one of my closest gamer buddies, in real life, he totally despises anytime there's any kind of genre mashing at all.
I don't despise it. It's just like I said, it's always been presented to me really just poorly.
Well, my buddy Bry despises it, and he is a very, very opinionated dude. So when he don't like something, you damn well know he don't like it for sure.
Well, I don't like
not
people
like is
who
anything
deny
that-
cleric spells. How about that?
Well,
I think that's gay.
and you have a right to. You have 100% of a right to, and I'm not even saying you're necessarily wrong to have your opinion. Have it.
I mean, it's like at the
Two in the
point a
morning.
cleric gets resurrection, players about ready to retire that character anyway. I mean, a cleric has resurrection and can just cast it for what? Like you're going to get maybe a few more months out of that character before you shelve them.
Maybe.
Like, and to call it game breaking is like, well, no, at that point, it's just like if they got resurrection, what's the point of playing? It's like they have to use it over and over.
Well, remember what I told you though.
Uh,
Clerics in Hyperborea do not get resurrection ever.
I mean, would a magic user be denied raised dead? Riddle me that. You know?
Clerics get raised dead. They do not get resurrection. So, and raised dead in this is not animate dead. It's raised dead. So if someone dies, you can be like, bam, and they're alive again. 'Cause you
Is
raised-
there resurrection in Rifts, or is there augmentation or something similar?
Well, in Rifts, I'm sure if you got killed, but you were near the right tech guys, they could probably put you back together. Like,
Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe something more merciful than waking up inside of a sarcophagus.
you shut your mouth. It is an honor to serve the God Emperor in that sarcophagus.
What we got
I
here?
am Delabots.
No, those are Borgs. Full
Oh,
conversion
yeah.
Borgs.
Full conversion cyborg.
Yep,
The only thing meat in that bitch is the brain.
pretty much.
So stick brain into metal suit, lose all humanity type deal.
Well, you know, again,
Depends on how
that-
you define humanity.
Oh God, here we go.
and that's not how it works at all in 40K. Because if you've ever heard the stories about like Rylanor the Ancient and some of the dreadnoughts, they actually become more human. You know what I mean? So there's a couple of dreadnoughts in my beloved Blood Angels Legion
There's
that
James.
are practically like saints.
I don't know. Space Marines are flawed, man. They're just
Of course
nah.
they are. I mean, I don't know how you're saying they're flawed or what you mean exactly, but
Oh, I was approaching that from the point of view of a custody. They're flawed, not to be trusted. They're just meh.
well, you know what the sad thing about the Space Marines are, if you want to talk about that.
No, I
They were
don't.
designed to die. I mean, I don't know if you knew that.
I
They
get
were
a
gonna go- they
belly
were gonna go
full.
the same way the Thunder Warriors went.
I get a belly full of lore of 40K from all sides.
No, I'm just telling you, when the Emperor created the Space Marines from the Primarchs,
And there's
at
never
the end
peace.
of time, when they actually, if they had managed to settle the whole whatever, right, the Space Marines would have been put down. There's no room for the Space Marines in the Imperium of Man. And it's the same thing as what happened to the Thunder Warriors. The Emperor created the Thunder Warriors, used them to conquer the Earth, and then had them all shot.
I actually watched this big thing about first edition 40K and the
Uh-huh.
iterations through, and I was like, wow, what a departure.
Fourth edition 40K was weird. First edition, I mean. And during first edition, the main guy writing the books was some kind of weird, like, fetish guy. Like, in
I
one
could
of the
s-
books,
I could
he's
see
talking
that.
about, like, the Space Marine acolytes had to wear, like, this black latex leather outfit. And he goes into detail about how it scrunches their butts up and they have to run through the tunnel of torture. And, like, it gets into some real fetishistic shit. It's like, yeah, that he's the writer's long since passed, but yeah, he was definitely about on the same level as the guy who wrote all the gore books, you know. Like, he was talking about some weird shit, you know. But
Yeah, just I mean,
Do you know
if you
why Space Marine lore works, bro?
because it's very
Because
homoerotic.
no,
Okay.
that's the exact opposite reason.
Okay.
Space Marine works because it's based on biblical stories. And whether a person be an atheist, a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, whatever, when you hear about the God Emperor of mankind and his golden light and his holy warrior monks running around fighting demons and monsters and shit, there's something in our primitive primate brains that latches onto that and really likes it. I don't know why.
Mm.
Uh, but it is a fact. I mean, humanity, I don't, when I talk to the humanists and they're like, one day there'll be no religion, I don't believe them because
I
I
don't
think
believe that either.
humans will always create a religion. It's something we can't help. And
No. The French actually proved that the transcendentalist movement of France about the theists debating the atheists around 1800s and something, and
right.
they won the debate that it was anyone, even without prescribed rite or ritual, like having no tutoring whatsoever, will still have a intrinsic biological spiritual experience in nature. Like
Right.
they will walk out into the natural world and instinctively know that they are part of something greater and there was a creator.
And then you take that and you wrap it around ceramite and you sell it for $299 every couple of years. And that's
I'd
what
buy
Games
that for a
Workshop
dollar.
did. Let's be honest, Sanguinius is the Archangel Michael. And I have his Forge World thing, and it looks like the Italian artist, Garibaldi or whatever, when it shows Michael descending from heaven and stepping on Lucifer's neck. It's exactly like that, but it was made by Games Workshop. So I mean, they're taking all these different icons from
Yes, Simon,
throughout
I have, of course.
history, and they're making this game, and it just sucks people in, man. Speaking of which, yes, I think of the Roman Empire all the time. I was actually talking to Nerdy Ogre about it earlier.
You got to have your daily meditation on what would a Roman do in this situation.
Probably something not really good.
Probably something not really good, or approach it with their weird ABC method of engineering everything. Is if B and C are to suffer in order for A to improve, scrap the whole thing. It's not good.
Right.
It's like do
What
it
would they
again until it's
do?
perfect.
They would measure everything out. They would drive stakes into the ground and mark everything out. And then when the rest of the Legion showed up, they'd help build a fort.
Yeah.
There was actually a type of Roman, and they were actually considered to be more of the higher ranked ones. And that they were combat engineers. They would run in front of the Legion to wherever they thought the Legion would camp that night and bust out their fucking surveying tools, find a place, mark it all out for construction so that when the Legion finally caught up to them, they could easily set up the camp. And they built a full ass camp with palisade walls and towers every night.
One of the original hurry up and wait.
It's nuts. But anyway, eat oatmeal and garlic. I eat so much garlic, I don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You don't like garlic?
Okay, when Lucifer fell from heaven,
oh jeez,
he was kicked the hell out by the Archangel Saint Michael. He fell to earth, and the first thing he did was grab a handful of soil in mockery of God's creation. And when he opened his hand, it was a bulb of garlic.
Jesus.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You really went hard on that one. Boy,
and he walked by a vineyard, a beautiful vineyard in God's garden, and the grapes started weeping vinegar. That's how much I hate it. And then he spat on the ground, and his spittle became mayonnaise. That's how much I hate the shit.
Hey,
It's the
mayonnaise
first stage
is a
of
gift
horseshit.
from the gods.
Mayonnaise is filth. It is vile. It begat ranch dressing, and both should go back to the pits of hell.
what do you eat?
Blasphemer.
Just hot dogs all day?
What?
You just eat hot dogs all day?
No. No.
Mayonnaise is a gift from the gods.
Yeah, false gods, Canaanite gods, Phoenician, baby chuckers.
Wow. I'm sorry, Cold Iron. You know you're my bro, but I like mayonnaise.
Oh, mayonnaise I can tolerate. It's just when other people are eating it around me, I can tolerate it. That's fine. I can't eat it. I
I
can't eat
mean,
it. I can't touch the
how do you
shit.
even make a tuna sandwich?
I
How do you
don't
make
make
egg
a tuna
salad?
sandwich. I eat tuna.
Just
Tuna
how,
has a flavor, and it shouldn't be defiled by salmonella pudding.
dude.
You just raw dog salmon?
I raw dog everything in this life, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a weird way of asking, but here we go.
Salmon is delicious. It's light, it's flaky, it's crisp, wonderful from the ocean. Enjoy it. Not with vile demonic mayonnaise. Oh my god.
So
Oh,
so you don't eat tater salad or pea salad
nope,
or
nope.
Yeah, I think we have definitely found out that this guy
I've caught it from all sides.
no,
I
I'm not. Look,
it's
your
cool.
diet is your business. All I was going to say is Cold Iron has proven definitively that he was not raised in a Russian home.
Nope, because I don't like sour cream either.
Oh my God. See? Yeah, you definitively, because in a Russian home, mayonnaise and sour cream on every fucking thing. I mean,
Yep.
every. As a matter of fact, my pops to this day still eats what he calls berries and cream,
Oh
and it's
god,
blueberries in sour cream
dude, that is fucking vile.
with maybe a little white sugar on top.
Oh, that. Oh
And when we
god.
make Russian potato salad,
Oh.
it's potato, egg, pickle, and then you have to put in fresh peas and cubed bologna
Oh, that's so disgusting.
and mayonnaise. Lots of
No,
mayonnaise.
God, I'm gonna puke.
You must
Now,
let
I
the
grew up the potato salad I grew up with was potatoes naturally, um, sweet baby dill pickles, eggs, mayonnaise, mustard, salt and pepper.
Oh.
so the salad you grew up with is just like mine, except you didn't have any fresh peas or bologna. And the bologna, you have to buy the solid like log of bologna because you have to cut it into like half-inch cubes.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't just buy like a stack of bologna and throw it in there.
Right,
That's weird, right?
Well, now we grew up with the bologna salad. It is basically bologna. You put it through a food processor, and then you put eggs and pickles and mayonnaise, and you mix it up.
For
Oh.
Texas, that sounds that sounds very much like something the Czechs or the Germans brought over there. I mean, Russian food, let's be honest, Russian food, 90% of it that involves meat is bologna. If you're talking especially like Soviet era Russian food. And everything's got mayonnaise, like everything. And the green that you put on stuff, the seasoning besides salt and pepper is almost always mint. Or not mint, dill. You know, dill that comes with the stringy. Yes, whatever you cook, sprinkle dill. And every soup has to have bay leaf. I mean, there's rules. There's rules. When you make a nice, strong
Um,
black Russian tea in your samovar, which I have a samovar on the counter, it's traditional to take a small spoonful of some kind of fruit jam and mix it with your hot tea.
Yeah, what can I do this?
I'm going to ask a question, Cold Iron, and if you answer it wrong,
Oh
I'm going
God.
to insist that James bang you.
No.
Oh, all right.
How do you cook your steak?
What cut are we talking about?
Oh my goodness, this guy's
Like New
going
York strip? Like what?
Yeah,
the
let's go New York.
superior cut
Whatever.
porterhouse.
Oh, you're a porterhouse guy?
I do like me a nice fatty greasy porterhouse. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, I'm all about the New York strip personally. All about it.
yeah. New
All
York
right.
strip's nice. Filet is for women.
Yeah.
At least every time
How do
I've
you
been to a
cook it?
steakhouse, the woman always ordered filet.
How do I cook it? I don't cook it. I have a slave do it. We're in the antebellum South.
Yeah, this is Georgia, baby.
This
We
is
don't-
How do you
Georgia.
have it cooked?
I got
How
a
do I
man
have
for
it
that.
cooked? To perfection, lest the slave be beaten out back in the yard.
Medium rare.
Typically medium rare to rare.
Okay. All right.
No, we're not uncivilized cooking steaks done and shit around here.
Well,
No.
he's hating on mayonnaise, man. I had to ask.
Okay, here we fucking go. So because I hate mayonnaise, that means I eat charcoal briquettes. You know,
No. I don't. Because you're
Yeah,
hating
you
on mayonnaise, and
wobbity
hating
wobbity.
on garlic. I had to know. What else you
Cold
hate?
Iron has thrown Nerdy Ogre's whole view of reality askew.
Oh, and
It's like,
Simon,
nothing makes
backdraft,
sense anymore.
you short ass leprechaun ass bitch, where your pot of gold at, motherfucker, you can shut your mouth.
You
I'm
know
talking
what's
to
my
Simon.
favorite thing online to call Irish people? Potato heads. Like when I talk to the Black Knight of Hibernia, who lives in Ireland, a lot of times if we're razzing each other, I'll be like, you shut your potato head ass up. Because, I mean, it's like your head plus you're Irish, so potato. It makes no actual sense, guys. But
Now, see, the real question you should have asked me is the superior barbecue. But I don't know where you're from and everything. But, being from Georgia, we don't ask each other how we get our steaks. It's always, what's your barbecue go-to?
it's probably for me South Carolina style.
See, that's how we gauge each other down here.
That's dry rub for me. Now, do I eat sauce with the barbecue? Yeah, I have sauce on the side. But I like my pork dry rubbed with the vinegar, the mustard, all the spices and seasoning, and then cooked for like 12 hours. And yes, it pretty much has to be pork to count.
It's like you can
Not that I
get
don't
three
love the
things.
brisket.
That's the thing right there is they say, what's your combo plate of the three? It's always got to be brisket, pulled pork, and then beef ribs. Everybody wants to go for pork ribs. It's beef ribs.
Oh, not me, man. I'm going
Oh.
with some dry rub St. Louis ribs. And then for my second choice, dry rub St. Louis ribs. And my third choice, guess what? Dry rub St. Louis ribs.
Dear God, James, you just like gnawing on bones like an animal.
Well, at least you
Me,
didn't
my
make that
dear.
bone.
I already did y'all eating a bunch of times. So
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I don't know why the best tasting meat has to be between freaking ribs, but that's just God making a joke on the world. Ha ha! I hid the best meat on the fucking pig between its ribs. Figure it out, boys. And that's just like how it is, right? Now,
that's from Call of Cthulhu too. The elder things mocked us because we
Right.
both excrete waste and procreate through the same area.
right? The real thing is there barbecue you don't like? My answer is no.
Coleslaw.
Barbecue.
There you go. There's barbecue I don't like. Coleslaw.
No, I mean meat, man.
There's
Like
not
I'll
much.
eat Mongolian barbecue. I'll eat Korean barbecue. Texas, Missouri. I don't give a shit. You throw some meat slow and low on a fucking fire and hand it to me with some. You can only put salt and pepper on it.
Yeah,
fine.
I'd say just about anything that has too much smoke flavor, I'll say is kind of eh.
I am fine with it. Oh, when we were up in Jackson a while back, we stopped at this barbecue place. I think it was called the Bag of Bones or some shit. And yeah, I ordered myself a full rack of St. Louis. And they were cheap too. That's why Leth was complaining there days. Like, I went out and I ordered a rack of ribs and it was $16. And I'm like, Leth, that's half what I pay here in Florida for a rack of ribs. Get out of here, you know. But it was pretty cheap up there in Georgia too. This is like a barbecue stand on the side of the road. I didn't even see any houses, but bunch of mayo monkeys in here. Mayo monkeys. Yeah, isn't that an insult for white people?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Which is so weird because it's like all of the racist terms for white people, I am completely not offended by.
No, I asked.
But that's because you weren't raised to be a thin-skinned little bitch. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Maybe. It's like if somebody calls me a cracker, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so Cold Iron,
Yo,
that's riffs. It's everything you can think of.
does it have mayonnaise? Because if
probably
so, it
has
could go back to
mayonnaise
hell.
from alien dimensions.
Yeah, no, it can go right back to hell where it belongs.
But if you're in Texas, you can eat shit tons of great barbecue while you're waiting to kill vampires that are sneaking across the border and shit.
I've had worse evenings. I have had worse evenings. That one sounds all right.
Actually, vampires wouldn't cross the border.
Well, then you're crossing the border. One way or another, somebody's killing vampires.
Oh yeah, but vampires do not cross running water.
Oh, that's true. That's
Oh.
true. They can.
They won't do it.
Now, if you
Or
want to be an
they
edgy
will do
boy-
it. They just have to do they have to roll for horror factor.
right. If you
And
want to be an
it's-
edgy boy in riffs, at least in the version I have, you can play what they call a sentient vampire. And that's like, you know, a World of Darkness type vampire. Because I guess when people get made vampires, they become part of like this Gestalt intellect. But every now and then, someone will get turned into a vampire, but they'll still be them.
Huh.
And then the other vampires really hate them. And of course, everyone else hates them too. Because, I mean, you're a vampire. So don't look for friends around here, right? But yeah, because all of the vampires are apparently linked by like this almost hive type intelligence. And every now and then, according to Savage Worlds, a vampire will be made and you won't forget who you are and you won't become part of their thing. And I,
Well,
at
there's
first I
there's
thought
another one that had like a cult like fandom was Savage Worlds.
right. At first, I thought that was stupid, and then I remembered and rewatched John Carpenter's Vampires. Because in that movie, all the vampires could feel each other. And some of them could actually see through the eyes of others, like at distance and shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then I start thinking, you know, the whole riffs, like vampire hive mind thing, actually, I mean, John Carpenter did it, so it can't be that bad, right? Okay. But no, these are not sparkly little, you know, come in and give you a foot massage with their Eurotrash accent vampires down there. These guys are
I mean, I
absolute
wouldn't say no. I'm not saying
no,
I'm gay,
these
but I
are
wouldn't say
monsters,
no.
is what I'm saying. They are monsters. They are grotesque, horrid monsters. And yeah. And I think in riffs, the Yucatan is like got its own shit going on. Or I could be I could be mixing settings up.
No, see, the Central and South America is where Central America is where the is like the center of the vampire activity
Right.
with all the Aztec and Mayan uh, pyramids and ziggurats or whatever they're called.
Right. Pyramids. Yeah. See, in Shadowrun, Aslan, because Mexico doesn't exist, it's Aslan, is Mexico and part of Texas up to like near the Alamo. But
Yeah, Simon, what the fuck ever happened with that?
but
They released the rules for it, and you never really heard anything else.
the Yucatan is being ruled over by a feathered serpent, which is a dragon. So, Trench Crusade. I know what happened to that. I know exactly what happened. I was there. You know what happened? The creators of the game and the mods of the game opened their fucking mouths.
No, it's the when they released the RPG rules for Trench Crusade. Did you ever look at those?
I did not.
They're not the worst thing you'll ever see, but it's just it's
I'll be right
really.
back.
I feel like it'd be really hard to role play in that. It's like how are you going to role play that if you're like a trench pilgrim? I
You would
must suffer,
definitely.
you know.
It would be about on the line of role playing as a Kriegsman. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
you exist to die. No, I thought you were going to go into the actual war game, which I was super excited about. Had numerous war bands for.
oh yeah,
My
dude. It was
brother had a
so,
war band for. I made a table.
dude. You're the one that got me into that shit.
I
Like
made a whole 4 foot by 4 foot trench table,
God,
bunkers and everything. I probably spent who knows how much money buying,
watched.
FDM printed.
they might owe you some money, dude. As many of us as you got, it was watch 2 James streams. All of a sudden, we're all buying Trench Crusade minis.
And well, their new thing too is they were talking about how you could just 3D print minis, and now they're trying to do the whole. Well, now we're making them out of plastic. We want you to buy those.
Oh yeah, you can't use the 3D printeds anymore.
And they're going back on the whole. Like one of my war bands is literally just World War One Russians with a bunch of weird Trench Crusade shit. Like I printed out, I think they were supposed to be for the Blood Pact, but it's a bunch of helmets with like demon faces, masks. So I printed out a bunch of, they're either World War One Russian or German bodies. I think Russian though. And they've got the grotesques, the demon faces, and they've got some of them, of course, got the little demonic fetus hanging off their belt.
Ugh.
And all that crazy shit. And then I made myself an actual Orthodox Christian. I think I told you Saint Methodius.
Saint Methodius, 2 anchorite shrines, man.
Yeah. Got my anchorites. And
But only 3
your
stigmatic
anchorites can
nuns.
have ranged weapons. I think they can have like a boom gun or some shit.
Yep, they can have. You can spend, I think, so many ducats on one to like completely outfit it with everything plus upgrade its armor.
Right.
So you can have the 1 ranged and 1 melee. But
now the worst shit in the war game, because I did manage to play it a couple times before I heard these idiots talk, is the artillery witch. That
dude,
thing is fucking ridiculous.
She is the reason to not play anything but vanilla Heretic Legion. Because you can't have the wolf or the witch with trench ghosts.
Yeah, if you live long enough to get 2 of those in your warband, it's like game over to anybody you play.
And then you just put your long range stuff on your Heretic Priest. And Like it's the same old, but at the same time for competitive, like if you're playing to win, that's how you win.
Yep.
Your
That was-
courser, just stick him to an objective and leave him there because his range is ridiculous.
Yep.
And just move your witches around and then have a hunter hop into the trench with the werewolf.
Yeah, well, you need the werewolf to just rampage across the trench line, destroying freaking barbed wire and everything.
And just support it with heretic troopers. Like
Yep.
it's like Trench Ghost used to be good before they nerfed them. It was just as like put Trench Ghost in Trench. Their melee is ridiculous. So they nerfed their melee before the game was even properly released. And then it was like, okay, but you're not doing anything about vanilla Heretic Legion. Well, it just wins.
Yeah.
I saw an artillery witch drop a fucking brazen bull single-handedly, solo, in a battle report. She just kept hitting the thing.
There was a minute where the trench ghosts, you could mount the leader of your warband on a palanquin, and it was pretty ridiculous there for a minute. People were like, "What the fuck," you know? So I made one, but my trench ghost leader on palanquin was actually a American M4 tank that I'd done up to look like the haunted tank because it was the right size of inches to equal the palanquin. And I had like the undead, you know, hanging out of it and shit. And it looked all warped and evil and rusty. So, yeah, that was basically him. But the game could have been really big. And then the moderators started banning people for vibes. And then they quit X and they moved their account to Blue Sky.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And
I mean,
started,
that's the tell right there. Like, as soon as
Right.
they do that, it's just fuck them.
And they just started banning people. And my deal was that I challenged them on their setting. And on the forums, there were quite a few people who actually agreed with my take on it. And that was not something that was going to be good long term for me.
No, I can't speak against the state.
Well, the thing is, I was just telling them this idea you have that the entire Atlantic is completely controlled by the demonic forces makes no sense.
And I mean,
And-
really, where are they going to go with the story? You know, there's only so much, you know, hell. There's only so much earth.
Yeah, but here is the reasoning from them. They didn't want American war bands because they're British and therefore assholes.
Mm.
And they even argued that the United States wouldn't even exist. 2,
What?
how do you deal with the Mesoamericans?
What? Like, there's
Like-
World War I, but there's no fucking United States of America. Like, how do I? Where's what?
Exactly. And then 2, like I said, how do you deal with the Mesoamericans? Like, whose side do you think they're on?
Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, if I had to guess.
That is the problem that they had. Because they
That
wrote-
kind of mirrors the Palo Mayombe weird offshoot of like voodoo or whatever that is. It's like the more Caribbean and South American thing. It's like
Well-
voodoo, but not. You know.
No, hear me out. Here's the problem. Because you're writing a game with the basic assumption that the Bible is true, then pretty much everyone in the entire world who is not a Christian is evil by default in the game. But the problem is they're hyper lefty. So when a Hindu comes on and says, "Can I play a Hindu warband?" What the fuck are they going to say? They painted themselves into this corner so fucking hardcore. They didn't know how to get out of it. And honestly, there was the only way to get out of it would have been to double down and say, this is what the game's about. Sorry about your fucking luck. But they didn't. So, yeah. So those guys ripping people's hearts out in the 1100s, they had to try and find a way where you could play a good Aztec warband.
It just no.
I'm telling you, that's what they did. That's what they did.
Well, I'm
That's a-
going to go ahead and bounce on out of here.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah,
It's getting
Little
pretty
bit.
late.
Getting a little late. And I mean, and it even gets even worse because
the atheist warband. That shit. Did you hear about that?
you had all the atheists that were like, we want a warband, but we want to fight for New Antioch.
It's like,
Because that was the deal when they came in and they're like, we want a warband. I remember answering a guy and saying, you got one. It's Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, or
You got-
whatever, right?
got demons in your face and you want to be an atheist. Cool.
It's like, yeah, you've got your warband. They already exist. So good news, brother, right? But then it was it's like in hindsight, because they got called out, they said, well, there's this fort somewhere and that's where all the Jews live. And so you could make a Jewish army.
Yeah,
So
the
basically,
Hebrew
every
Knights.
Jew in the world lives in one fort somewhere in the desert. And
So
then you
weird.
have the Muslims. What is theirs? The Sultanate of the Horned.
the Iron Sultanate.
Right.
Mm.
Well, obviously, whether they know it or not, they're in league with the devil. You see what I mean? You see the
Yeah.
issue here?
They're doing the
Reject
whole.
Christ.
They're doing the whole Abrahamic is Abrahamic thing for the game.
They
And
were trying it. It didn't work.
yeah.
Too many people called them out.
Well, it don't matter anyway because I'd be playing Heretic Legion anyway, and I'd be killing them all.
Yeah,
I mean,
have two war bands I like: my Saint Methodius war band and my Prussian war band.
I like Heretic Legion. I do, but I hope you believe. I hope you know and understand that is from a mechanical perspective. That I'm playing a game to
You're not
win.
the kind of guy that thinks that you play the heretics because you're some kind of weirdo. I mean, people like different shit. I made the Heretic Legion guys myself. So now I do have the Prussian guys where you got like the Prussian anti-tank Jaegers with the big fucking blessed great swords and shit like that. And those guys are pretty cool. And then just to completely piss the guys off, because I posted the pictures on the forums when they were still a thing. I might have a couple of them in here still to show off. Yeah, here they are. I haven't even finished painting some of them. These are 3D prints. You can buy these from Warlord Games now. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Over there, right? And I told him, I said, I don't give a fuck what you guys think. In my lore, the United States exists and it's coming.
I mean, the setting, the art, and the miniatures were like the real selling point. The rule set is not even anything to write home about. I mean, let's be real
not
about
really.
that. I mean, I was not impressed with it. I was like, it'll work, but
Yeah, they could have had a better rule set. But I totally went online, found some 3D printed models and printed them off and made an American warband. Now, this is just the infantry. I've got a bunch of Badger suits around, and they are like chef's kiss. They're the big armored suits that the guy, you can have one in your group. And he's carrying like a freaking, in one hand, he's got like a 50 cal, and in the other hand, he's got like a big fucking Bowie knife. But check this guy out. This is a 3D print also.
man, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, Prussian with a big fucking sword, baby.
Oh, but you can't do that no more there, James. You got to use their miniatures with their kit bash kits.
Yeah, they can kiss my ass. And that
That's-
is definitely what that is what I left that particular hobby within my brain.
Dude, that's
They
so sad.
think
I
they
even
can
won
kiss
that
my ass.
raffle on Reddit. And actually, I was going to ask if you were try to find some other. I already asked Simon. He said he didn't want them. I've got the magnet faction markers that this company was making, like the blood markers and everything for
Right.
Trench Crusade, and I got Heretic Legion and Trench Pilgrims. I won this raffle on Reddit, and they sent me free ones. The magnets are really strong on them. They're pretty cool, but shortly after that Trench Crusade, all the devs decided to take a dump. So if anybody wants them, they're freebies. They look cool as shit, but I'm never gonna play the game.
All right. This is what's the leader of the demonic forces called?
Um, which demonic
The Dark
forces?
Apostle or whatever, just the Heretic Legion.
The Heretic Priest.
Yeah, there's your 3D printed Heretic Priest.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I 3D printed and made him, and then this guy is a kit bash guy.
Yeah, the
But-
default Heretic Priest kind of has that Gog Magog looking Babylonian headgear.
Yeah, see, this guy is a Vatican guard. So the yellow pants need purple stripes. But that guy looks. Oh, this is my favorite part of these guys. This is a sergeant, I think. I didn't paint the rank, so I don't know. But this right here was my favorite part of these guys. They all have an American star on them, and this guy's got a Tommy gun. So it's like, yep, we're coming to the trenches. Coming to some trenches near you, America.
If only. So sad.
So,
R.I.P.
like I said, if I ran into somebody around here and they're like, hey, you want to play Trench Crusades? I probably would, as long as they knew that I was going to completely disregard pretty much everything they've ever said about anything and just play whatever army I want. I mean, it would be, in alignment with rules and shit. I'm not
Yeah.
sitting here
And they
talking about,
switched
but-
up some of the
but-
rules, but
I would basically say that they can take their lore and put it in their butt because their lore sucks. I could have wrote better lore than they did.
they would have to completely just undo everything they have presently done in the past 7 months, like completely wipe it clean and just say they're sorry. And then actually keep their fucking promise about Temple of the Metamorphosis and Path of the Beast. They would actually have to deliver lore for it and rules so we can
Well,
actually
what
play
the
them.
Temple of the Metamorphosis is.
Oh yeah, it's their Eldritch
Yeah,
ish
they're trying
alternative.
to work H.P. Lovecraft shit in.
Yeah, and it sounded cool as hell.
Well, I mean, because it would give people who wanted to play the bad guys but didn't want to necessarily be part of the Heretic Legion an option. You could just play somebody who worships Cthulhu or some shit.
They just never came out with rules for it. They kept saying, "Oh, it's coming, it's coming."
You remember this girl, right?
Hell yeah, I remember.
She's naked, but I covered her boobas up with blood. And this miniature is a really good miniature. You can actually see her nipples.
That's a caveat to Saint Methodius right there. Is your stigmatic nuns have to be wearing light armor.
Yep. Well, she
Can't-
is.
They can't show their boobies.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I'd have to buy some like nuns,
Hmm.
gear them up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, so when people talk about freaking that game, it's like I get a little bit of a way about it because I'm like, I went hard, man. I was like freaking talking about it and loving on it and being like, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then I have to admit, I felt a little betrayed by the creators of the game,
Oh, big time, dude.
who, in my opinion, all they had to do is just shut the fuck up and make the game. And it's like, you know,
And keep their word.
well, keep their word. It was like the more they expanded the universe, the worse it got. That should have been one thing. They should have concentrated on the Middle East and just said, you know, this is the setting right here. And if people were like, well, what's going on in other places? You could give a little bit of the lore just to like keep them in. But, you know, they went way too far. And it ended up just
I've been thoroughly enjoying the amount of hate they receive online.
oh yeah, those
Dude.
guys.
Dude,
I mean,
comment
there's a
sections
reason they
are
went to Blue
on
Sky.
fire.
Yeah, there's a reason they went to Blue Sky.
And you can tell people, like, as that sentiment is shared, dude, like the people just are scandalized. Like if any 40K video, any other war game video whatsoever, if they mention Trench Crusade, somebody is going to be in the comments and people are going to comment on that post. It's just like, yeah, fuck that shit, dude. Blah, blah. Like they're going to go off. People are mad.
And it's like, I can't even like be all like, yeah, people shouldn't be that way, because they earned it. They worked hard for it. You know, they had a good idea. They got I mean, I remember, and I know you remember too, that period where literally all of the creatives were making Trench Crusade videos.
Yep.
Like even channels that had been hardcore 40K fanboys for like ever were all of a sudden making Trench Crusade videos about the lore and the fucking all the cool shit. And,
They were already, you had some YouTubers that were already doing campaigns.
yeah, I mean, literally, it was their game to lose, and they fucking lost it.
Mm-hmm.
They snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory by being stupid. But like I said, going back to my aforementioned thing, they did it to themselves because they wrote themselves into a corner that they were too cowardly to exist in. Had they, when people started talking shit, had they said, sorry, that's just how this is, it's a game, blah, 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 they'd have been fine. But because they tried to walk that fine line of modern sensibilities in a game where literally, you know, demons are coming out of the ground and shit like that,
And
it just didn't work. It couldn't work.
It produced and inspired a lot of artists and 3D printers to come up with some of the coolest original minis for that game.
Dude, some of the demons I have
God,
for like the actual demonic war bands, like I printed out a basically, it was supposed to be some kind of pleasure demon or something. And then I printed out wings and put like 2 sets of wings on her, and then put a whip on her, and she's big too because she's like the demon, right? And then I printed out the I forget the name of them, but they're the burn up dudes that carry like heavy flamethrowers and machine guns and shit like that.
the
Got a couple of those motherfuckers in there, and a chorister. Not because they're super great, but because they're so fucking creepy. Right? And I printed up a female chorister. So, and the choristers are the ones that actually could cut their own heads off, and then they're on the battlefield holding their head up and the head screaming.
Yeah, those are the ones you stick on an objective.
Right. So
As soon as they grab an
I've got
objective,
a female chorister,
they're there.
and I made a whole warband that was all devoted to, you know, the concept of physical degradation. And then, of course, I've got my corn warband, which is just a big fucking demon, and you know, everybody's all heavy metal and balls to the wall. I didn't do a glutton warband. I did, however, print out a plague warband, like with the plague knight and the weird plate mail with the pointy,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and the plague hounds and all that shit. Those guys are nasty.
Yeah, the gluttony variant.
And then you've got the one guy that fucking has a gun that shoots maggots. Like,
Yeah, Simon, I know you like gluttony. I know.
gluttony. Well, I mean, yeah, like I mean, basically, like you said, though, bro, I got pretty hard into it. I was like, you know, I mean, my table's still out in the garage. I've got all the war bands available. Other than the Americans and the Prussians, which aren't painted, I've got probably.
I mean,
if I had to guess, trench crusaders, you know, like pilgrims,
yeah.
I probably got about 5 war bands.
Good grief, dude.
Well, because I've got my Saint Methodius war band, but then I've got like tons of other just different war bands.
I mean, in addition to all their
painted, like I've showed you this guy, right?
yeah, the castigator. That's the one you can't have in the Saint Methodius communicator.
Right. Communicant.
Yeah, that's
The
which is fine. As I was like total trade. I was like, we'll totally make that trade. No problem.
See, I have not a Saint Methodius, just a generic war band, but everyone in it is like
Ooh, then you can start using the martyrdom points.
right. Everyone in my normal war band is I built using late era Byzantine body parts with you know, World War One ish era Russian weapons and shit. So you've got a guy in like the lamellar armor with the Orthodox cross, and he's carrying like a freaking Mosin or you know, some kind of submachine gun or something. Like, yeah, I went pretty hard in the paint on that one too, you know. And I posted a lot of these pictures online, and like I said, a lot of my fellow board users completely loved it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Simon. Yeah, that fucked with me too. The Metachrist program.
Yeah, that I never. It was like what?
It's the stigmatic nuns serve the tenets of the 3rd Metachrist. The sniper priests serve the tenets of the 5th Metachrist, and basically they're setting it up for a schism later on, to where the forces of good are going to split between which Metachrist they serve. Because apparently the program and the lore is still developing, as far as I know, is that each time they created or cloned a Metachrist, the ministry, the doctrinal teaching changed a little, and some started to contradict the other.
Yeah, that's the thing with, I believe, Saint Methodius, right? Is they do not accept any of the Metachrist bullshit.
Yeah, they disregard all the Metachrist. They also, the reason you can't use the martyrdom points is you cannot willingly run a no suicide.
Right.
And you can't blow yourself up when you're laying there wounded if you're fallen or something and want to become like a human boom boom type thing. Can't do that. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Christ didn't do it, so you don't do it type thing.
Right.
It's like Christ could have ended his own suffering. He didn't.
Right.
Now, the French tried to get around that in the 100 Years' War. If they're like, well, what if somebody does it for you and you don't have a say in the matter? It's the mercy
Well, I
givers.
mean, yeah, that's the whole.
But it was like, it's combat. You're just finishing off the wounded. Like, that's basically what it is.
Well, that's how it was in World War One. A lot of times, or different wars actually. At the end of a battle, the officers would come out and shoot the wounded, and they considered that to be like the right thing to do.
Either that or have the monastics or the whatever clericals were with them. Either pray with them or deliver last rites or something.
Right. I mean,
They're like, war's war, man, but
anyway, though, ultimately, yes, we pretty much figured out where they went wrong. That's just basically it. They
sad, so sad.
Yep.
And you can tell it actually had such promise because, it still comes up.
Oh yeah.
It still comes up.
Everybody
And
loved the idea of it.
God,
I mean, that is the thing. I'm not mad because they made it. I'm mad because they didn't, because they effed it up, because they had it right there. Right there, they had it. And all they had to do is stay the course and not give in to, modernity. And they would have been, quite possibly, they would have been a competitor to Games Workshop. They were really lining up to be an alternative.
They would have been the go-to alternative to 40K.
Yep. There were so many people who had quit 40K and were 100% saying, I'm going to go play Trench Crusade and shit like that. And then after Trench Crusade blew up, most of those guys were like, you know what? I think I'll just play Battletech. And there for a while, like the St. Pete store in my area, let me tell you, them cats were playing Battletech. They were having tournaments with 30 and 40 people showing up. Alpha Strike. I think it's still really big in Florida, Battletech is. Even though Battletech, the creators have done everything they could to try to
I tried my damnedest, but I failed.
What'd you fail?
I had one buddy who was just like, who was a hardcore Mech Warrior player back in the day, and he was like, you got a Battletech box? Dude, fuck yeah, we're doing this. Let's play. Nobody else wanted to. Literally nobody else. I was like, all right, I guess it's just you and I, dude, and we have completely opposite schedules.
Well, maybe one day shit will work out, and if it does, well, you're ready.
Well, and then I pitched Frostgrave to them, and they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, we'll do that. So everybody's doing Frostgrave stuff.
Well, I mean, Frostgrave, of the two things, Frostgrave might, in fact, be the easier pull. Just because, one, it's fantasy, which is just more popular. And two, the entry point is nothing. If you play fantasy or war games at all, you probably have 10 Frostgrave armies,
Yep.
It's like literally you need a wizard and 9 assorted jerk-offs.
Oh, I've already built my band. I just need to get them finished painted up. I was working on trees the past week or so.
Yeah, I saw your trees. You look good.
Yeah, that's I'm going to use them for everything, but made those specifically for Verret wood. We're going to try that one.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, we're going to try that one. So give everybody some time to get their Frostgrave shit together. And I got a summoner band.
Oh, you went with a summoner?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I went with a Thurgist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my idea when I made the band was that the wizard was going to just be support. That was basically his whole deal. So
Oh,
most of the spells that he has are, buffs and heals and things like that. And yeah, his whole point for being there is just to lead, but also to, keep the guys up. And then, of course, I've got my apprentice doing the same thing.
you.
I'm hoping in the next edition of Frostgrave, they're going to make it where you can have different wizards in your warband.
That'd be cool.
In Stargrave, that's how it is. In Stargrave, you have the ship's captain and then you have the second officer, and they do not have to be the same at all. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe the apprentice makes more sense, So yeah, I'm torn on. I'm sitting here arguing with myself at this point. You know what I mean? I'm kind of torn. Like, maybe they did it right. Maybe there shouldn't be any effing, maybe it should be an apprentice and not just some random joker.
I mean, it's apprentices essentially the wizard just gets the -2 to spell casting, doesn't it?
Well, not only does the wizard, yeah, it's basically the same wizard with a penalty to spellcasting.
Yeah, I think.
It's not a bad thing though, because if your wizard ever dies, your apprentice can become your wizard. So your warband can keep going, and then you can immediately get an apprentice for
I'm just
the former
gonna
apprentice.
I'm gonna summon shit to protect my treasure hunters and thieves. I'm out to grab.
I mean, that is the game. Whatever anyone might say, the game is not actually to beat anybody in combat. The game is to get onto the board, move quick as you can, get as much treasure as you can, and then get off while taking the least amount of damage. That is the game. People, a lot of times, they want to build up war bands to do fighting, and that's fun. But the guy with the super quick guys, treasure hunters and thieves, if you play right, you might be able to outrun everybody to the treasures that are near you, and then just get your ass back to the hacienda and call it a day, right?
Is to run them to the treasure as quick as possible and keep summoning if they want to try to intercept.
Right. So, yeah.
And also, it's an excuse to bring some additional minis to the table with Summoner. That's
right. Kind of like how Necro can bust a zombie out.
Yeah, I liked them. They have really interesting tactics. Like looking at the battle reports online, dude.
One thing the Necros do that's just absolutely nuts is they've got that spell that they can cast like on the terrain piece, and then they can cast spells through that spell.
And what is that called?
It's like a magi thing. So one of the guys I gamed with, he always played the Necro, and he would do that shit where he'd run up and he'd cast that spell on a piece of terrain, then he'd hide the Necro and start casting his life taps and shit through that piece of terrain. And he just kept his zombie near him at all times, So if you wanted to run up on him, you could, but he had a zombie there. And then my brother, being my brother, he played Elementalists.
That sounds like him.
And his dude, you know what he did? He just shot fired everything. Fire, smoke, Like he had one spell where he could like put a smoke wall up that no one could see through, and then he'd like, shoot fireballs at everybody, flame bolts and all that sort of shit. And his thieves in the game were all halflings. Because he just went through my D&D stuff when he's building his warband, and he found every halfling with a dagger. And he's like, well, here's my thieves. So his warband literally on the table looked like a D&D adventuring party. Because he had the halflings on the table, he had orcs on the table, like any miniature that had the correct weapons loadout for what they were supposed to be. He played it, So yeah, if you had like an orc and he had like a one-handed melee weapon and no armor or shield, well, there's your thug. And he did all right, to be honest. He did pretty good. I did not do all right. I got my ass whipped quite a bit, but it was a lot of fun. And the Necro guy, he did really good. And that was, again, using some bullshit tactics over there, But there was one campaign game we were playing. After this, I'll probably take off. But we played one campaign game where there was like a tomb in the middle of the table that generated skeletons.
Yeah.
And it was generating skeletons to the point that none of us could do anything. Because every time we'd move or something, a skeleton would beeline one of our guys and get in a fight. We started losing guys to NPC skeletons and shit like this.
Dude, Witch is kind of broken too. Witch is pretty good.
Witch is really good. But
not as good as the Hyperborea Witch. Oh my God.
Oh,
Mr. James.
I told you.
Did he do that on purpose?
I don't know. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't actually matter, does it?
Well, ultimately,
unless
no.
you run into one, and then
once you start looking at the Hyperborea bestiary, you're kind of like, all right.
One thing, Hyperborea, everything in Hyperborea is kind of cranked up compared to what you think it should be cranked up to. So there's that, you know what I mean? There's the whole, the monsters are tougher. The spells, you get tougher or more powerful spells at lower levels. So, I haven't seen an issue with it. And we played Saturday night, and they cleared out Sokol Keep in Flan. And so they killed a bunch of skeletal undead, and then they went into the keep, and they ended up fighting a type 5 demon, so Merilith. And the demon gated a type 1 in of rock. And the design of the keep was basically, there was like a balcony around. The second floor was like a balcony looking down on the first floor. And that gave this demonic bitch like free reign to just fly around, do whatever the hell she wanted, right? And plus the fact that her armor class was -7. -7 armor class. So there were people at the table who could not even hit that bitch unless they rolled a nat 20. But did it save her? Ultimately, no, because there were people at the table who could absolutely hit that bitch and did. Like the Warlock and the Berserker, for sure. when they decided to get stuck in. The funniest thing is not really funny, but anyway, one of the funny things is that the assassin threw her dagger. She's got a dagger of venom, basically, right? If she rolls a nat 20, you gotta make a save or die. And she chucked it at the demon and missed. The demon picked it up and chucked it back. And they were sweating because I'm like, watch me roll 20. They're like, oh God.
Aren't most demons immune to poison and disease anyway?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt her if it had hit her. But the player didn't know that. The player was just pulling a desperation act. She's like, I'm going to chuck this dagger. And she's talking about if it hits her on a 20, she'll have to make a save and die. She's saying that to me. And I'm just sitting there being like, yeah, okay. I mean, I knew that wasn't. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about someone getting beat down, the mage. And they never even took damage. But Merilith demons ignore magic on a 14 and 20. So every time you cast a spell, if they roll a die 20 and get 14 or less, your spell does not work.
Rapana took where the Merilith were was a permanent aura of dispel good.
Yeah. Oh, plus all the spells she was casting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were running around like freaking Chinese firemen, as they used to say. The Keystone Cops is like, and I could tell they were getting like they were getting down. You know what I mean? Like they were worried. They were starting to like. A couple of the players were getting really defeatist. They're like, "Oh, we're going to die. We're going to die." And I was just laughing. I'm just like,
oh, there's always running away.
Yep.
There's always that one
away.
teleport.
Well, see, when they got to the keep, they noticed, as you do, that the gate had been chained shut from the outside. And they also noticed there were some centuries old bones that were now all super degraded, whatever, around the door. So they're all like, okay, what exactly happened here, right? And so one of them finally says, it looks like a bunch of guys died trying to hold the door shut to put the chain on. And so they decided to climb up the building and open up the trap door and come down from above. And the Merilith was in there. Now, storyline between you and I, what had happened is when the Vikings were raiding Flan and they'd landed on Thorn Island to sack Sokol Keep, the priest of Apollo had tried a desperation move and had summoned the Merilith, thinking that she would aid the forces of Sokol Keep, whereas what actually happened is she went on a murder rampage and just started killing everyone. The Vikings, who had ran into the keep thinking they were going to have a good time, ran into that. So
when you summon something, you better have the authority to control it.
Right. So they immediately and wisely were like, we need to get right the F out of this place, right? So they held the door shut, many of them dying from her magic and everything, while they worked up the they jury rigged the chains to hold the door, which held her in, right? She couldn't actually leave the keep anyway because of the summoning. But I really played it up to my group too. Like every time she got hit, I'd tell the group she like lets out a moan of pleasure. And
sounds
so
like Merilith, though. I mean, that's pretty on brand.
Right. But I also was leaning a little bit into the Slaaneshi thing. Like when they very first got in and they were going down the stairs to the second floor, they made noise and she heard them. And I had her calling out to them like in a really sweet feminine voice, asking who's there and stuff like that. And they couldn't see her. And they were basically shitting themselves because they're like, there's something in here. We don't know what it is. And it's asking us who's there. And it sounds like, a woman. And so when it finally popped out, they were like, oh shit. And then the mage, of course, and the witch in the group tried to cast what magic they could on. And the Marilith's magic resistance stopped every spell.
Man, thinking about Mariliths makes me actually miss 3 and 3.5 a little bit. Just how technical fights against them got.
Well, I mean, and then, of course, like I said, the Vrock shows up.
What, Vrock? A Vrock?
Yeah.
As in, does a dance of ruin and gates in 2 more Vrocks who also dance and...
Well, in this one, it can attempt a gate. It failed in my game, but yeah, it does all kinds of crazy shit. Plus, has like, darkness and this, that, and the other.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, when they started fighting the Marilith, one of the first things the Marilith did is gate in a random demon. And unfortunately, I rolled poorly and she got a Vrock.
That's not poorly. That's a
Vrock.
Vrocks
The
are...
Vrock is like a 7-hit die creature.
Yeah.
The Marilith is 11.
But Vrocks,
You
man,
could have brought in like a Hezro or something. The one that looks like a boar.
yeah, but you leave Vrocks alone, they just multiply, and oh god.
Well, what's really fucked up about the Vrock is they got that one ability where they basically put out a poison cloud around them. So that was an issue. They were not enjoying terribly much. But yeah, the Vrock though, it had like a -1 armor class, and the Berserker in the group is currently got like a total fight ability of like, I don't know, +10 or 11. So she ran up and just wrecked it. With her freaking great axe. She just ran up and was like, blow. Weapon mastered and critted and triple damaged. And the Vrock's like, well, that sucked. But the Marilith stuck around for a while, as you would expect. Yeah, she was around. And I was really playing up, like I said, a lot of the weirdness and shit. And so they managed to find the Lord's loot, which was on his corpse. And it ended up being like +1 chainmail, +1 mace, +1 sword, +1 shield. And so they were really happy to have that. One of the guys in the group somehow had no magic weapons.
What level are they?
He's like level 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Well, no, I think, you don't know him, but you've seen him in my chat. Robert Copeland.
Maybe, yeah.
Who I usually just call BRC, which is short for Big Rob Copeland, because he is a big motherfucker. But anyway, I don't think he never said anything, It's like they would find treasure and people would be like, oh, that's neat. I want that. You know what I mean? And he just never said anything. And then the other night we're at the table and I'm like, she cannot be hit by mundane weapons. And he's like, oh shit, I don't even have any magic weapons. And everybody was like, what? So he got his choice of whatever he wanted, So he took the bow and he took the sword. He's a scout. He can use them. So,
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it was I'll tell you what, the damage resistance is kind of crazy in that game
Ugh.
because one of the characters got attacked 5 times by the demon, right? And got hit 4 times. And the claw damage is like 2 die 4, right? So that's 8 die 4, but you deduct 8 from the total because each hit you deduct 2 because they're in plate armor. So they got hit
good old
4
stun
times.
resistance.
Yeah, they got hit 4 times and ended up taking like 5 damage. All right. And I was just like, well, I mean, yeah, you're wearing plate now. You've got a movement of 20, but this is why, because you can just soak up the hits. And but yeah, and the other thing I did, which I told you about, is I printed out all of the advanced combat bullshit. And I put it on the table and I told them, hey, you guys might want to look at this. The shield walls, conservative fighting, defensive fighting, shield breaker if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
proficient with an axe. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here that, they have used none of. And I'm like, there's so much stuff you can do, right? So I'll get them, though. The next time they end up fighting orcs or something, I'm going to make sure those orcs form up a shield wall. Put some pikemen behind that shield wall and just dare them,
Just to remind them.
just to let them know, hey, But then again, there's 8 players. Only 2 of them are fighters. And I don't know if the scout can use a large shield or not. I'm not sure. So, and the berserker almost never uses a shield at all.
Here's my shrine.
She's too busy berserking with her great axe because, Danish berserker.
No, I wouldn't know anything about them.
Right.
It's just how my family earned its coat of arms is by killing the Danes.
Is it?
Yeah, we were at Wessex.
Oh, nice.
Yep. 3 stags. Incidentally, we also wore the red sash when we were hunting Roman Catholic priests for Uncle Henry VIII.
Well, it's important to be on the right side, I guess.
I mean, I wasn't there, so.
You know what my people are? Vikings that got lost on their way to somewhere else
As many of them did.
and ended up staying and decided to be like, these people here, they keep calling us Rus. Maybe we'll adopt the name. We'll be the
A lot of them had to hightail it because a lot of the northern Swedes were Christian, and the southern ones were not so much.
Yeah, there was a little bit of people running. And it also was a fact that a lot of the locals actually wanted the Scandies to come in and actually rule them because their own form of government was complete trash. And they basically had no law. And wherever the Rus ruled, there was at least some kind of law. So that was a good idea, right? And then over time, they become the Rusians.
The Russians.
Yeah. The Kevin Rus. So, yeah, I mean, good times. Good times. And I wonder if, along with my Slavic blood, all of the Scandinavian blood I have is it from people who were actually in Scandinavia, or is it from the guys who went to the Slavic lands, and that's why I've got Slavic and Norwegian blood, you know?
Either that or good looking women.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you. I've already told you, so I won't tell you. As a matter of fact, I'll probably just log off, but I was going to go into my routine about Russian women.
Oh, God. No, it's growing up in a military town, man. Like I developed a taste for Euro trash pretty quick.
Russian women are red. They're a walking red flag.
I never had a Russian, but got my card punched by a Czech Republic. So,
Well, I mean, the Czech Republic, the main thing they're known for is like porn.
well, yeah, that's about how it went. It was like, I've seen porn. I know how to do this. You go as hard and as fast as you possibly can because that's what they like.
Yep.
Well,
My
I
brother
had to be
married-
instructed.
My brother married a Czechoslovakian woman
Yeah, how many times has Hungar been married?
one time.
Okay. That dude just be pulling women.
Yes, there's a reason. And a big part of it is his shining personality.
He's easy to like. I mean, it's
Another big part is his big part.
Hungar got a big Hungar.
He got all the family gifts anyway. I mean, you know, and
I'm gonna slide up in his DMs and ask him for wiener pics.
oh God.
No, I ain't gonna do it because I might get him. He might call my bluff and
That's what I was thinking actually. You better be sure. Before
He's
you go
not a
down
coward.
that route, you better be 100% sure that's something you want to. Yeah, he married her. They were married for like 3 or 4 years. He breaks the cardinal rules sometimes, and I have to yell at him. But, you know, my cardinal rule is you never talk about anything involving your significant other.
yeah,
Hungar does not have that rule. And some of the shit he told me she was into, I was like, God damn.
It's like, hey man, like once like your girlfriend, cool, you know, whatever. You know, you gossip about your girlfriend, not your wife, you know.
Oh, I shut them down at my station, bro. I had some guys that'd come in and they'd always talk about what they did that fucking weekend or whatever with their wife.
I don't want to hear
And I
that.
finally was like, dude, you know I'm going to be sitting across from her at the next Christmas party, right? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you want me to be imagining her with a dick in her mouth?
It's like people who talk a lot about that sometimes are like they get off on the voyeurism by proxy. They want you to think about it type thing.
You're probably right. Maybe when I said, do you want me to think about your wife with a dick in her mouth? The guy was like, yeah. Fucking
Yep.
Weirdos, man.
It's when I was younger, the people went into that swinger phase where they thought it was cool, and that's how they'd start it.
Yeah, well, I never thought it was cool.
Nope.
Anyway, young master Colby.
Called me young, thank you.
Catch you later.
All right, man. You have a good night.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to bed.
Good night, man.